Hey, Sarah. How's it
Hi
going?
guys, good you. Thank you for
Hi.
having me.
It's an absolute pleasure. Thank you so much for coming on.
Thanks for
Um,
being patient, because
yeah.
Iggy's useless.
You
When
show up 1 week, there's no audio. This time around, you're super late.
And I almost
Last time
killed
you
you.
got really drunk.
I almost
Come
killed
on.
you.
and he almost killed
You
you.
almost killed me last time.
You forgot the
So
worst
yeah.
part.
Sarah Parker joins us. Welcome to Calling the Audible. We'll do the intro in a second. We're starting with the interview because we want to accommodate Sarah Parker's schedule. She joins us from the Women's League of Team Concordia. Sarah, you're the first ever interview we have in the women's division. So,
Well, Lamise technically counts.
oh, Lamise as
Yeah.
well. That's true. That's
She's
true.
playing. She's
I
playing.
thought of her as a referee. That's why, but I know she's a player in women's league. So second interview. My mistake. My mistake.
Okay, it's okay.
Um,
I'm still honored.
yeah, thank you. It's appreciated. It's appreciated. I've told this story before, but after our first podcast with the women's division, I got a bunch of messages talking about how I didn't know anything, and I felt a great sense of shame. So I've made it my job now to learn as much about FPF women's division as possible. I've been to games. It's super fun. I really enjoy the fast pace. As somebody who hates defense, I love all the scoring. I love how much the ball moves. It's a creative playbook because it's 5-on-5. It's really fun to watch. It's really fun to watch.
Yeah, for sure. I'll do my best to help you guys today. I'm
It's,
a little nervous. I'll do my best.
don't again. You can't be as bad as we were. So
Well,
it's
yeah.
definitely appreciated.
And I just want to echo what Pease is saying. I've actually been scorekeeping on Sundays, 3 to 6 for mostly the women's field, and I've seen you play. I've seen all the other teams. Really super impressed. And yeah, just echoing again what Pease said. The fast pace is incredible. I'm there scorekeeping, thinking it's like other FPF games, and I have to be twice as fast just inputting the stats in.
So this is a general FPF podcast. So for the people not in the women's division, we talked a bit off air about how it's much more of a community than the men's division is sort of these small communities of like there's the Joey Taylor talent tree,
Gang,
and there's
yeah.
the Pease tree, and there's the Kevin Wyeth teams. And so how is it that FPF women's is this sort of all encompassing community by
On its own.
on its own? Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. I feel like the flag community is, I mean, I wouldn't say small, but we stay in contact with each other. So I've played, all throughout of high school, and now that I moved on to like CJEP, and then after that university, like I still see those players whenever I go play. But if it's in the university league, or like another civil league or an FPF, like we still like keep in touch, and sometimes like we even end up playing together, playing against each other. So it's just super fun to see how the girls still, the sport is evolving, the girls are evolving with the sport. So like we're grateful for FPF for letting us play, like in another league on top of all the other ones that exist, and like giving us the opportunity to have the stats and like have more exposure. So I'd say, yeah, the sport is evolving. We're getting places, and I think all the girls are super dedicated. They want to see the sport evolve. They want to participate in everything that's going on. So, yeah, we're just really tight knit. We want to see each other in the sport also evolve. So I think that's why we're such like a big family, And
Yeah.
I've coached players that now are gonna play with me in university, and like it's just it's a lot of fun. It's a lot of fun. Very close knit community.
For sure.
All right, let's break this nervousness up because that was a really polite answer. Now
Yeah,
let's talk some
super
shit, all right? Because everyone has that family member they hate seeing on
Who
Thanksgiving.
sucks? Eagle, what's your question?
That's my question.
Oh,
It's,
who
yeah.
sucks?
Oof. Can I politely not answer that question?
Absolutely.
I
No, of
actually
course.
don't.
We're
I
just
actually
kidding.
don't know what to say.
No, but that's kind of the thing. First of all, it's easier for us as like, even though we're players in FPF, it's easier for us as like dedicated media people to sort of be analytical. So we won't put that kind of stress on you, obviously. But I would like to hear about your team coming into the
That's a nice segue.
yeah, of course. This is what I do. But I do want to talk to you about Team Concordia because coming into the season, I'm like Sarah Parker fan number one, so they were my like favorites to take it all. proving, of course, that I didn't know as much about the women's division as I thought I did. And also, I thought this was the team that went to Tampa, but that's not completely true. That was an amalgam team. So why do you think it is that Team Concordia has been not as successful as you would have liked coming into the season?
Okay, so first of all, Team Tampa. Actually, I was the only one from Team Concordia that went
So
to
I was
Tampa.
very wrong. Cool.
Yeah. Actually, most of the girls that I played with, I played against in the FPF league.
Okay.
So we're a little bit like spread out in the university teams. For our part, we decided to take part in the FPF winter season for fun, like for something to do during the off season to keep seeing each other and all that stuff. So Concordia is a new, maybe a bit less experienced team. I feel we were one of the, well, actually we were the university with the least amount of players that showed up to tryouts. But I mean, that doesn't take away how talented my players are. They have like a lot of potential, and I feel like maybe because it was we kind of went into FPF thinking like, oh, this is gonna be fun. Like we're not gonna put too much like we're not gonna take it too seriously. We're just there to like see each other and have fun. So like we had players, you know, like that are usually on offense playing defense and the opposite. So yeah, I feel like, yeah, our season doesn't really reflect how much talent we have for sure. But I mean, throughout the university season, when we had a lot of practice and the girls were like really into it and we were super motivated, we performed really well. So I'm not really nervous for our fall season, but yeah, for the winter season, I feel like maybe we could have taken it a bit more seriously, let's say.
Right. So you speak of the kind of highs and lows of your season. I think you, at least the media here has been suggesting that you kind of struggled out of the gate. But if you actually take a look at the stats, you're actually number one in passing yards. You're number one in touchdowns. So the maybe slow start to the season, you've had 17 touchdowns and 1 interception in your last 4 games. And Concordia, if I'm not mistaken, has won 2 of their last 3. So how do you feel going into the playoffs now that you've built a bit more chemistry with the Concordia team?
Well, going into the playoffs, we're for sure gonna try and step it up and, you know, like make it all the way. You know, playoffs is ultimately where everything counts. So for sure, we're gonna be like stepping up to the plate and making sure that we perform to the best of our abilities. But we'll see what happens. Like I'm always showing up to give my 100%, and I think it's the case for every girl going into the playoffs. So we'll see. I'm not too worried. I think we're going to perform pretty well.
Okay, very cool. And then I have a little segue question, quick one. If someone's going to show up to watch one of your playoff games to see Concordia play, give me one player on offense, not named Sara Parker, and one player on defense that are standouts on your team that you would want other people to be like, hey, look, that player, watch out for this player on offense, this player on defense.
Okay, so on offense, I think everyone knows who my favorite is. Caroline Maquin-Joubert. I played with her when we represented Canada. We went to the States in 2020, and now we recruited her to play for the North team, so the team that went to Tampa. We're going to Texas again in May, and she joined the team. So nice. Caro. And then on defense, well, usually she plays corner, but she played safety throughout the FPF season most of the time because our safety wasn't available to come and play. Laurie Saint-Pierre. Laurie Saint-Pierre is a great overall athlete. She can play any position. She mostly played offense before. And it was the case for actually most of our players on the Concordia team. They were all offensive players. So they were all shipped to, well, a lot of players had to be shipped to defense and taught how to play. Yeah. So, Laurie Saint-Pierre, I'd say. I think she's leading the league in picks, if I'm not mistaken.
Definitely your team, and she showed it on Game of the Week against Concordia versus Brut. She had like 3 picks in that game. It was really cool to see,
Yeah, and she's played FPF also in the past in co-ed.
Okay, so she knows the idea, the general rules and the concepts of FPF. Cool.
Yeah.
I tried to stir up controversy. That didn't work. So let's go with a more serious question here.
The most subtle way too,
I
Eagle.
When we're looking at the competition that you have week in, week out, are there any patterns you pick up on in terms of games you've played in the past against the same people? Do they run the same playbook? Is it more using this division as a way to develop new plays for, I'll call it the regular university season for some teams? How are you kind of seeing the, I guess, evolution of the meta, if I want to call it that, in the women's division going?
So we for sure wanted to play an FPF to like play against other teams than the university teams for sure. Just to have a feel of different ways of playing, let's say. So we're used to playing against teams like UQAM and UDM, like that run a playbook that is similar to ours, or like that run a style that's similar to ours and we're used to playing against. But then we match up against a team like Les Brutes that was maybe a bit less known in the FPF community, but we in the flag community know them very well. So we always knew that they were a team to beat and that they were really strong. They
What is
play
it
also
about them
tackle
specifically,
football.
though? What is it about them specifically that makes them so dominant?
Well, they're physically dominant for one thing.
Yep.
The girls aren't very used to being pushed around for sure. So that's something that we all have to get used to, and like trying to be a bit more physical in our game. So they're physically dominant for sure. They're a bit more aggressive. But the Brut, I mean, they play tackle football. So for the Montreal Blitz, and they've played together for years. So like the chemistry is there. They know each other very well. So for sure, like I think that's what sets them apart from all of us, where like our team was formed maybe a year ago and they've been playing for years. So all together.
For sure. The one I want to ask you about another team specifically, Les Flamants Roses. They had Vanessa Beery throw for them week before, and then Adrienne Caderet returned. Adrienne's played particularly well despite the team sort of being middle of the pack. What's the differences between having Adrienne at quarterback and Vanessa? Like, how would you compare and contrast the two quarterbacks and their styles?
I think Adrienne is on her rising. I met her when we were practicing at a quarterback specific practice with the QB movement. And I saw her there for the first time, and I saw her arm, and I was like, sheesh, this girl is going to be amazing. Yeah. And she was telling me that she was always taught, like up until that moment, she was always taught and told who to throw to all the time. And she wasn't very familiar with reads and all that stuff. So when I saw Adrienne play more recently, and I got to see how much better she got and how much she gained she gained a lot of confidence behind the ball, and she executed really well. So yeah, I'd say that Adrienne isn't done yet. She's she's on her way up, and she's gonna keep on going. And I mean, Vanessa, she's a legend. She's a legend. I feel like it's not fair to compare Adrienne to Vanessa. I wouldn't find it fair to compare myself with Vanessa. Like Vanessa has so much experience. She has so much talent. She's what every young quarterback looks up to, right? So,
it wasn't meant as like as a trap at all. It's just to say that like they're different, obviously, and obviously the pedigree is very different. But I've been impressed at the end. The first time I saw her, I saw her throw downfield, and I was like, my God, the ball explodes. Yeah. Everyone in FPF has a better arm than me.
Yeah, true.
I get by on my brain. So as long as that's okay. But yeah, no, I was blown away by that. And then, Vanessa, of course, she has more of the experience with reading defenses, calling plays, and so yeah, you're right. That's not something I thought of. I didn't know that about at the end. So definitely that's a big difference.
Another question for you here, Sara. So technically we divided the women's division into two tiers with 4 teams, the Volts, Red Nation, VC Cubs, and Strangers being in tier 2. You only had one game, again, from what I can see anyways, against anyone in there, and it was week 1, Red Nation, where you blew them out 45-0. what do you think about I'll call it the developing teams? Like, what advice would you give to them, being one in that position in the past and now also as a coach, in terms of developing their game and kind of being able to play in that tier 1 and be a little bit more competitive?
Mm-hmm. Well, I know that Red Nation played. They played at Vanier in the past. I'm pretty sure is what I heard.
Yeah.
They all graduated from CEGEP, so I think it had been maybe a while before, like since they played flag. So I'd say like for any athlete anywhere in any division, the more reps you get, the better you get. And I think the more they play, like there's so many leagues over the summer, so many leagues over the winter. If they play as much as they can, I mean, there's nothing stopping them from, like trying out for big teams, trying out for their university team. Like we're looking for talent. We're looking for, we want to build a strong core. We want to have the strongest teams. We want to build them up so we can have those high competitive teams when we get to representing, the province, representing Canada. So like there's room for everyone to grow, for anyone to grow. We're looking for potential most of the time. So like, yeah, as many reps as they can play together. There are leagues where you can just register individually. So if they want to get places wherever they want to play, they should play.
Cool.
I'll touch on it in a second, but I'll let Iggy ask this question first, and I have my question will tie into that specifically as well.
Okay, so it's not a wrap up question, so it'll be my last question.
I get to wrap up. I'm the boss. I get to wrap up. That's how it works.
So I now that we've talked about the women's a little bit, I want to stir some controversy. Can you confirm that you're the new starting quarterback of Bishop Sycamore in Co-Ed 1, and are you the new starting quarterback in Golden Eagles in 4B?
Yeah. I
both.
So
Both?
I threw for yes. Yeah.
Man.
So
okay.
Well, there goes my
Sunday
family.
I'm playing
Breaking
back-to-back.
news!
Yeah.
Yeah.
Go
So
for
this
it,
Sunday I'm playing in Lachine at 8 and at 9. I'm playing for Golden Eagles at 8 and I'm playing for Bishops at 9.
Cool.
Yeah. So
So,
Tommy went to Mexico and he asked me to replace him at quarterback.
And he didn't bring you
team.
with him.
Jerk. No, I'm gonna reveal something that I messaged you about, Sara, before the season. When I thought you were the quarterback of Golden Eagles because I saw your name on the roster. And I was like, it's not fair that we're both in the same division. We're not the same caliber at all. And so now you're chasing my team for a playoff spot. I don't like this. I don't like this one bit. But yeah, so
I played 2 games with them. One went not so well, and then one went really well. So
I'm
we'll
just
see.
happy Golden Eagles is not on my schedule. That just a lot of pressure.
I
off
had to
me.
get used to throwing a big boy ball.
Yeah, it's different for sure.
Yeah, so I throw with a glove. I can't throw as far, but I mean, I'm still making. I'm trying to make smart moves with the ball.
Yeah,
That's what it is.
I think you
That's
put
Considering.
up 6 TDs, no picks on the finessers, I think was the stat line. Yeah. So yeah, you're making the right reads.
Yeah. So I have kind of a big question to sort of end the interview, because it's really important to me and believe me, based on the meetings I've had in the last few weeks, it's important to FPF as well. We want FPF to be the home for women's sports. We're going to have an announcement soon about the women's final, what we're going to do in terms of the roadshow and all that, because we want to shine light on it. I've watched WNBA for a long time, and for a long time they said stuff like, well, they don't invest in it because nobody watches. And so, well, but the thing is, nobody used to watch the NBA, and they invested in it, and that's how people watch the NBA today. And so for me, it's important on the front end to put investment into women's sports. And so what can we do? Because to full disclosure, and I may have said this on air, I've said this to several players who have messaged me, is we owe a debt of gratitude to the women's division because largely you guys organized and came to us. And we're eternally grateful for that. And so now it's our turn to sort of branch out, push it, and try and like I see a future in a short period of time where we have 20, 30 women's teams and grow it from there. You know what I mean? Like that's, to me, within 2 or 3 years, that's where I want to be. And that's where I think the direction can go for Women's League. So what can we do to help push the message? How can we shine more light on the women's division?
Mhm. Well, like I said, I think we're a close-knit community. I feel like if we spread the word that, FPF is open to everyone, I feel like we could get a lot of female teams in. And we really appreciate you guys like putting in the work and getting us into the female division, giving us exposure. Like I've seen your guys' stories, like posting two girls that had like crazy stats, just like giving us exposure that way. I think we're grateful for that for sure. Giving us the opportunity to play too. I wouldn't like I wouldn't want to ask for more than what you guys do for the guys for sure. So like I feel like just giving us equal treatment to whatever the guys get is plenty for us. And if we want to spread the word about having more girls coming to play in FPF, like everyone wants to play. So I don't think it'll be an issue that way. Just because our community is strong and is small, and you guys just got into it, so for sure we have like this kind of assist that we have to bring in just to help you guys,
Of course, and it's super
spread the
appreciated.
message.
We want to incorporate in the podcast, and the easiest way for us to do that is to actually hear it in your voices. I've been joking with Mo, saying that we need a segment called Mansplaining with Mo and Spees, where we talk about the women's division, but it's obviously better when we hear it from you guys, because you guys are the ones competing in the division, and incorporating it into the finals. I'd like to see this year, of course the schedule was delayed because of COVID, but I think in the winter seasons we can actually have a full 10-week season for the women's division, because it'll line up better with like if we actually start in January, it'll line up better with the women's calendar. That was another thing that came up in my meeting this week. So I think there's a lot of really cool things we can have on the horizon for the women's league, and we're looking forward to getting your input and the input of lots of the ladies in the league. So thank you so much for your time, Sara.
Oh, thank you so much for having me. It was
It's
a
an absolute
pleasure.
Thank you, Sara. Thanks.
Last chance here. Just one name. Shit on someone. Come on. One name.
It's gonna be me.
Can it be myself? I think I had a poor performance throughout the season, but it's
She
okay.
says that as she's gonna steal my playoff spot.
Yeah.
It's low key shitting on me. Thank you, Sara. We'll talk soon.
Thanks, Sara.
Okay. Bye, guys.
Bye.
Bye.
Welcome, everyone. You are listening to it, perhaps watching, calling the Audible. In fact, sorry, you
You
were
are
already
already watching.
or listening to Calling the Audible. A little different this week. Mostly
What? It's the same as usual. What are you talking about?
things that are different. This is how we've always done it.
I'm Mokan.
Hi, Mo. How's it going?
Hey.
How's Ramadan going? Never mind. That's a trap. Don't say anything.
Yeah,
There's not a way
I'm not
that-
going there.
There's not a way you don't say anything without insulting lots of people. So, joining me this week is Iggy Magnets of Magnet fame. Producing the show is Eagle of Knob fame. The beginning of the show, you heard an interview with Sarah Parker. We were going to run it in the first segment after the introduction, but
Stuff happened.
Stuff happened, namely Iggy can't tell time.
Well, when you say 7:30, Hot Sauce Sports, this other show you do?
Yeah, I don't know if you know about this show, by the way.
No, I don't.
I've never talked about it before, so I'll take a minute to talk about it. It's a comedy sports show where we discuss the news and happenings around the world of sports. We joke about it because it's just sports, guys. It's not that serious. And it sounds a little something like you've been listening to Hot Sauce Sports. And so
I do this magic trick where I can make him speak without him speaking.
That's what he's been doing for years, by the way. It's never actually my
But
thought.
yeah, so when you say 7:30, we're gonna be wrapping up. I usually get the later message.
Tom
It's
Coughlin
7:45.
Tom, in fact, I have this. You can check your messenger. Rob told me I can fire you on air.
Oh
if
yes, I saw
So
that. Yeah.
I'm not even
Now-
making that up. It's in our messages.
So for the record, I said 7:30 we aim to start, and you said so 8 p.m.
Yeah.
And I said lol.
Yeah,
And then
But
he
also,
said,
before
make
that-
it as close to 7:30 as possible.
But also,
Your
if you
response
scroll
was,
up,
ah shit.
I said we have Sarah Parker at 7:30. Which we're running late anyway because we have to download the assets and stuff for the, change your name from Mo to Iggy and so on.
I
But yeah,
just left it Mo.
this is my favorite sports weekend of the year.
I know why.
It's normally FPF finals.
Yep, exactly. Yep.
And it's also the Masters. I love and hate it because obviously it's fun to have as much sports as possible. But the Masters is my favorite sporting event of the year, and I don't get to watch it as much. So it's the last 2 years.
So what are you doing now that you can?
Well, I'm watching it while I'm at work. I haven't done any work today. I wish that was true, but I do have it on my second screen at work. I will be watching it tomorrow all day long. And I've already warned my wife that I will be the couch Saturday and Sunday. So
is she joining you or
for parts of it? She's from Georgia.
Okay.
She grew up in Atlanta, so she likes sort of seeing the course and all that. And the Masters actually does a really good job of like presentation. Yeah. So it's actually an enjoyable experience to watch.
And I've heard, all I've been hearing about this week is the walk. The walk on Augusta is so hard. It's a steep ski hill down.
It's not that hard. It's nice. It's beautiful. I look forward to eventually. I will walk it one day. Not as a player for sure, but I will
just
walk
the grounds.
I will spend a lot of money to walk the grounds. So Iggy joins me today. Iggy, of course, covers Division 4 mainly, but today he'll be covering all the divisions, just like I mainly cover Division 6, and we'll be.
That was a cool interview. I like getting the perspective of, in all seriousness, we joke about it, guys talking about the women's division, but to get her perspective on where the league is, where it should go, and how to get there is a cool conversation we had.
And we talked about in the interview how, because it's so communal, we can't talk about it the same way as the men's league because they all have a background that's related to why they're in flag together, right? But it's not some guy might play McGill and is on some random team with, I don't know, Jason Rossi or whatever. Yeah. It doesn't mean anything to the team. Yeah. It matters as context and we can bring it up, but it doesn't actually mean anything, right? Right. So, it was cool to get that perspective, get that insight, because we don't get that easily, and it was a really great interview. Really, really did enjoy it. Yeah. How was your week, Iggy?
It's been okay. A couple of scorekeeping games. Went 2-1 2-1.
That's a good week
in FPF. A couple scorekeeping shifts, and at least the games I did get to see with mostly Conrad on the field as a ref. Oh, you know what? Let me mention this, because one thing happened in your game, and then the same thing happened in my game. The inadvertent whistle. Oh, fuck! Fuck the inadvertent whistle, man. So
I had to calm a lot of guys down really quickly.
Yeah. So explain what happened in yours.
In our game, I threw a short pass to George Ifantis. He was running towards the sideline, and
He made like a twisting move with his
head,
so
I guess we'll start in Div 4 since the topic brought us there. Yeah. This is not Mo running the show. It's a very different show. It might be 4 hours.
I know. It was last time.
So again, it was more free shit. Yeah. Stop complaining.
Yeah.
So I threw the ball out in a quick out. He made his guy miss. But there was a sound. There was a sound of.
Oh, was there? I didn't hear it from my.
It was for me to hear it. It's gonna be pretty loud because I'm definitely in one of my ears. Right. So, it was decently loud, but whatever. It clearly didn't get come undone. And then Vince Pisano was the ref and a new ref, and Division 4 is quick for a new ref to be reffing, right? It is. Yeah. And so he blew the whistle quickly, and it would have been a touchdown.
Yeah, he took it to the house. Yeah. And then what happened 2 or 3 plays later? Do you remember?
2 or 3 plays later, he made a guy miss, but the flag came out.
The flag came out, and the whistle never came because he was waiting this time.
I called a technical timeout, and I said, "Hey guys, what's the protocol on this?" And he's like, "I just made a mistake." I said, I'm sure the other team won't mind. We prefer a late whistle than an early whistle. Yeah. If that's okay, if that doesn't violate any rules." He's like, "Okay, that makes sense." And just make sure that you see the flag, and then a couple of my guys were getting upset because it was a really tight game, and I was like, no, it ended up working out because
I think I was talking with Conrad on the sideline. We're like, I think that's a good thing because there was 5 minutes.
I thought of that in a huddle.
I know because there was 5 minutes left in the game. You were down by 2 points. Basically, it's a tie game, or you need the touchdown to win. I'm like, maybe this is actually kind of good because you would have scored too quickly.
I wanted to end with the ball.
Yeah,
basically.
Yeah.
So
and that's what ended up happening.
And that's it. So basically, we go up. They tie the game 33-33, 5 plays left. Justin Blanchard scores, we won the game, and not completely unrelated to the to that moment, right? Because otherwise, I would have had like 2 or 3 minutes to kill plus 5 plays.
Yeah. And we'll stay in Division 4, but then
Yeah.
the inadvertent whistle
We'll come,
recall.
That'll be sort of the central theme. Like you know when you're watching a show, like there's the episodic plot and then the plot that branches out. That's what the general plot's gonna be.
Sure. Like last time it was the quarterback, the backup quarterback.
There you go.
There
we go. We totally planned this.
Yeah.
In our pre-show meeting that we didn't have.
Specifically on that note, if you are watching the show and you have feedback, either positive or critical about any of the things this season, whether it be scorekeeping, refereeing, us specifically, don't forget to leave a comment down below. And if you're listening to this on our podcast, go on YouTube and leave us a comment. That would be wonderful.
So if in case you haven't noticed, we playfully will react to it. We'll start fake rivalries with teams based on your comments. Like last week, I don't even know if they won or not, but I picked
Dusters 2.0.
I picked against teams specifically because of what they wrote in the chat.
And then they put like clown faces on Instagram.
Yeah,
like,
that's
next
awesome.
to you guys.
That's awesome.
Yeah,
Your juggle balls are there, by the way.
Yeah, you feel free to juggle at any time. You can't.
Thanks
be
for wearing green, by the way. Really fucking smart.
Come on, who
it's
does
a jacket.
that?
I got in here quickly because I was late.
Who does that? Who wears green on a green?
You.
Screen? I did last time we were here.
St. Patrick's. Yeah.
They lost, by the way, Dusters to 7th rounders, 20-18.
Good. I was right. In
The
this.
7th rounders? Yes. Okay. Yeah. So yeah, the inadvertent whistle. It happened in our co-ed game, Kiss My End Zone against Yin and Yang. Abigail Cockerton took it to the house, and her 2 inadvertent whistle.
You could have said that for co-ed.
It's fine.
I just said that's the thing we're gonna do.
Yeah.
You need to listen to the show you're on.
Yeah. Anyway, yeah, Division 4.
It's fitting that you're here replacing Mo. It's fitting.
Division 4.
So, Blackouts blowout Brotherhood.
Yeah. So I was surprised when I saw just the score, but then I opened up.
Like it's like I've told Mo about Blackouts. Like this game is specific. I believe I said you won't be surprised if Blackouts win, but I think the score is the surprising part.
Right. But then
not the outcome.
Is it?
But then I opened.
Is it? Because I called it.
But then I open. Yeah, you kind of did. But then I open up the scoreboard and I see, oh well, Kwesi didn't even play.
Yeah.
So I guess that begs the question.
They did have Theoge though.
Yeah.
I'm assuming he played defense.
Yes,
he scroll up?
Yes, he did. Yeah.
Well, you saw the game, right?
I did
Oh
not.
no, you just saw the score.
No, I just saw the score, and I was surprised by it. But then I saw Kwesi didn't play. But as good as Theo is as an athlete, and he has played a few reps at QB.
He hasn't played in a while. Well,
when he did, he wasn't outstanding.
He was a Division 3 quarterback.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
I played against him in Division 3. That's how I
Okay.
know.
You played Division 3.
Well, not
How
as a
long-
quarterback.
How long? Oh, okay.
in a long time ago.
Okay.
Several injuries ago.
Yeah, okay. Fair enough. So how much stock can we put into this? Does it really mean anything, come playoff time where if and when
sense.
the Brotherhood and Blackouts meet in a semifinal or final, does it mean anything?
A little bit. Because Blackouts to me are one of the strongest rosters in Division 4A, and I've said it before. Yeah. They have if Adam Sinagra sort of gets the FPF thing sooner than later because the natural talent is there. It's different from tackle.
It's crazy. I saw him.
That's a rating that's
throw
going
in Division 2.
Yeah,
or even 1, and with #NR. Holy crap!
Yeah, that rating's going to skyrocket. This is the last season.
This guy's throwing in Division 4.
This is it. I equate this to a team drafting a quarterback in the NFL and paying like the rookie scale until like the new contract comes in. The new contract's coming in for Adam Sinagra.
Right. Yeah.
Because A, he's going to have the Division 2 multiplier, and B, he's putting up good stats everywhere. But Blackouts are really good. Michael Kazaka is a really good receiver. Ryan Vanslet is really good as well. And then, like I keep saying, like Julien Lachance, if he needs to throw, or Alexander Lille, if they need to throw, are really those are 3 good quarterbacks in Division 4 on their own teams. If they all had their own team. Yeah. And Cristioni, a very good two-way player. Mm-hmm. Right? So like it's a team that really, I don't know if they have like the best players, but they have no weaknesses.
Yeah. I that's kind of what I see here. It's just top to bottom. I think I'm in agreement with you. It's one of the strongest teams in 4A.
I'm going to make an argument I heard about the Miami Heat this week about they're like a team. If you play them on 2K, everyone's rated 83. No one's rated 90.
Right. Yeah.
They have 10 guys rated 83.
Right.
Like
Yeah.
that's kind of
Across
what
the board, yeah.
what they feel like is they're all guys who can play their positions, play them well, and nothing's weak.
But Kazaka and Vanselit are elite.
Well, they're coming.
Are elite.
Yeah.
Or they're
Like,
already
they're
there.
already there, but
They're
like
already
the
there.
recognition and all that's
Yeah.
gonna come.
Yeah.
Because
Fair
they're
enough.
guys who started like Division 6, right? So
Right.
it takes a while for the rating to catch up. And,
Yeah.
yes, you're right. Actually, in terms of ability,
They're there. They're elite.
they're guys who, when they arrived on FPF, had the raw ability to play Division 3 right away.
Yeah.
So it's not surprising, but the score is surprising. So you asked the question: will Crazy Gordon Mall be available for a showdown game versus KGP Raw? I think it's important for him to be there.
It's the otherwise it's going to be a similar scoreline to this one.
It's a different
to the
kind.
Blackout.
KGP Raw is a different kind of team. The size might be an issue for Brotherhood. Size might be an issue for KGP Raw.
I don't think so. I think so. Again,
So how do they mitigate the size? If you're game planning for KGP Raw, these are the kind of questions I can ask you because you play FPF. I can't ask this to Mo. But how would you prepare knowing the difference in physicality?
as KGP Raw,
Yeah.
And this is what I would suggest, and it's probably what they're going to do because I've seen them play on Monday nights in Saint Laurent a couple times. They're not going to change anything. They're going to keep to their game plan, and only if it doesn't work, then they'll adjust. And that's kind of what we'll be answering your question is if the size of Brotherhood is what is impeding them from taking a lead and winning the game. They're going to use their I was going to say speed, but man, only Jonathan Garfinkel's speed is more elite than anyone on Brotherhood.
Because the other guy, all of KGP Raw are fast, but Garfinkel is the burner on the team.
Yeah.
So KGP Raw, they're the only undefeated team left in 4A, currently in first place in Conference A West. They have the Brotherhood this upcoming week, and then a couple weeks off, and they end the season with Hurley and Sons and Top Sizzin. If they don't lose this week, is this a 10-0 season?
Maybe.
Is this week basically
You
their
know
hardest
what?
game left?
You know what? Maybe. Top season's really good.
Yeah, that's the thing.
Their record doesn't reflect how good of a team they are. And they've been solid, but
And they just barely squeezed the win out against Bruins, right?
I was there for that game. It's not what it looks like. Bruins kind of scored late.
Oh, okay.
But
so they're up 2 scores
but
basically the entire time, and then Bruins just made it tight when it didn't
pretty
matter.
much. But it was close. It wasn't it wasn't a blowout. It wasn't like they were never in it. Bruins tried to get in, but too little, too late. But
like KGP Raw has got 253 points scored, right? That's awesome. That's excellent.
Yeah.
But Top Season's got 245. You know what I mean? Like
they
it's a
can keep
kind of team that
yes,
can keep up.
So no, not necessarily. If they beat Brotherhood, they could still lose that game to Top.
Let's put it this way: like, there's an alternate reality where KGP Raw is 5-2 and Top Season is undefeated at this point. You know what I mean? Like, to me, they're similarly caliber teams.
And I wouldn't be surprised or shocked by that. Yeah.
Well, I'd be shocked by the alternate dimensions.
Oh,
incredible thoughts.
Only if you realize there was, kind of like you just did. So,
yeah.
Are we in the alternate dimension right now?
We would be alternate to the other one.
Yes.
Like the other one where the Empire State Building is still a docking station for blimps.
Throw the dice up in the air if you get my reference.
Yeah, 1 of 6.
Yes, there you go.
Where's the
10 seasons in a movie.
There's a nice little cycle here in that KGP Raw has beaten Blackouts, and Blackouts have beaten Top Season, and the Brotherhood now Brotherhood has beat Top Season, but Blackouts beat the Brotherhood. So it's just...
Exactly. That
everyone's pointing at everyone else.
Yeah,
right?
The Spider-Man.
Yeah.
Well, but that's put it up, Eagle.
But it's the best type of that. Like, you don't like you see that sometimes at the bottom of divisions.
I love this.
But when it happens at the top of divisions, it's so much more fun. It's so much more fun.
Like Division 4, 4A, and 4B, they're like really competitive, and it's amazing. Like from week to week, you can be in a playoff spot and move down, or move from the 5th seed to the 2nd seed. I love that. I love it.
Blackouts, Top Season, Small Giants. Who's going to finish 2, 3, and 4 in Conference A? Eagle, can you bring up the conference standings?
Yes, sir.
So Blackouts, Top Season,
Small
Giants. Who's gonna finish? Oh, not
2, 3,
2
and
and
4.
3. 2, 3, and 4.
Yeah.
So rules when it comes to this, whoever's going to finish in 2 has to come from the divisional standings, right?
Yeah.
So it's one of the
Blackouts,
4
top
in
season,
there.
small giants.
Yeah. So this is in the dimension where KGP Raw, which might be ours, wins the conference. They get the 1 seed.
Yeah.
Who gets 2, 3, 4? How does it shake out? How do you see it?
Give me small giants to come in at second, and then blackouts after that. Just because small giants have that extra game in hand. And if I look at their schedule, they have Stoics, Nomads, Backyard Bullies, and blackouts. So I see them
2 and
winning
2,
those.
3 and 1.
Yeah, 3 and 1, if not 4 and 0.
Oh, really? You think
Yeah.
4 and 0?
Yeah, I think they can take blackouts.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, again, the thing with blackouts, and I think it's the thing that's going to ultimately cost them in the playoffs, is that Adam Sinagra is learning FPF. Like, we've seen it with top tier, he is a top tier quarterback. He's going to be in Division 1.
Oh, yeah.
100%.
Yeah.
But like we saw it, for example, with Sam Cannell, who played for UDM, when he came and joined FPF, his first season in Division 4 was good, but it cost him in the playoffs just because it's not the same game. It takes a second. Him to learn the position in FPF is a lot easier than guys like us, right? Who are not elite athletes, who are not already quarterbacks, right?
But any place you can get an edge, whether it's the play calling, the concepts, the timing, using your timeouts properly,
and the spacing on the field is different.
it is. Yeah.
And there's certain types of throws you can make and flag that you would never dare in tackle.
Yeah.
In terms of, you don't want to get people murdered.
Yeah.
Where that's not a risk in FPF because it's not a tackle league.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
that's that the comfort with those throws is going to develop when it's like, oh yeah, I can do that. Oh,
Yeah.
I can attack that. Oh, I can exploit that.
Yeah.
And that's where that becomes.
That's
It's an intricacy that
edge,
happens.
yeah.
And
that's the edge
it's-
that he doesn't have just yet.
But that's it. It's fighting the programming, right? Like they're programmed to play a certain way.
Yeah.
And it'll change. It'll change as soon as they see, like, oh, this is actually ripe for the picking in FPF. But top season has big fun take over KGP Raw. That's a tough end of the season.
Top season have Say it
Big
again?
fun take over KGP Raw.
yeah, the KGB Raw is going to be hard. Because I kind of think they're going to go undefeated.
Again, like I don't think Takeover's not been playing well,
yeah.
but the talent is there.
Oh yeah.
So
yeah.
we know we've seen that group be really good.
Yeah.
So I know it's up a division, but everyone kind of moved up a division, right? So it's
Mm-hmm,
in a similar competition.
But yeah,
in that case.
just because the Eagle was super shocked with my small giants or it might beat blackouts, I said it real quickly, like, oh yeah, like guaranteed. Not a guaranteed win. It'll be a very close game. It's going to be an awesome game to watch, and to wrap up the season. But I can see small giants pulling out a win.
Yeah.
Little Justin Lerner bait on a play type of thing. It's like, oh, that guy's open. Nope.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and
I've made that mistake. I made that mistake many times.
And
to
he
Justin
does
Lerner.
something you do too with the no look pass.
Yeah.
To the front corner of the end zone.
It's-
looking here, looking.
I was
here.
telling the Eagle, is like it's a thing where even though defenders know it's coming,
you have to respect where the eyes
You
are.
have to.
You have to.
because you know there's a guy behind you.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
and like the thing to do is to take away the easiest throw, which is the front of the end zone.
Yeah.
But it's instinct. It's hard. It's fighting the
Shake
programming,
off,
right?
Exactly. Yeah.
I ran it twice to the same corner yesterday.
Yes. Yeah.
So,
yeah, I
it
saw
happens.
Yeah, I saw.
Among Mongoose, Spears, Cougars, and Centaurs, who could fall out of playoff position?
So they're all in the playoff.
Eagle will
position
bring that up.
currently.
So right now, the Bleu Blanc and Nomads are
Yeah.
currently out, but they're both at 2 points, right? They both have a win.
Yeah.
And pretty much Mongoose, Centaur, and Sparrows Cougars are all at risk of dropping out. Bremaleur, Nomad, and Mongoose have 6 games. Centaur and Sparrows Cougars have 7 games played, so there's a little advantage there.
And,
but I mean, it's pretty much still wide open. Even Stoics can theoretically drop here, right?
Le Blanc and Lara got their first win last night.
Yeah.
I was talking to Tony Curry about it after the game because they played the same time as us, so
Yeah,
I didn't get to see it. But he was frustrated because their only win has come by default, by forfeit this season.
Yep.
So they've had roster consistency issues. And
But you see, that's the only team LBB would have beaten is Nomads. And so now they're both at the bottom.
Here's what I don't understand. Minton Tat is an elite defender.
And he doesn't play.
Why doesn't he play defense on Les Bleus Blancs?
I talked about this last time.
I don't like.
Yeah.
So I understand that when you're playing quarterback, you might not want it because you already have a lot running through your head.
Yeah.
You use the time on the bench to think of the next drive. That said, your team needs you, bro.
Yeah.
And I've known Min a long time, and
Yeah.
I'm telling you, the guy is a shut down corner.
Yeah. And then put Philanger on the other side of that defense, and now you're shutting down the deep ball.
Philanger's only played 2 games.
Yeah.
Get him to show up.
Yeah.
'Cause-
He was there last night.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
and
that's a difference maker.
Yeah.
That's a different team if he's there.
yeah.
It's an absolute different team.
And
if
that
he's
was
there.
one of my suggestions as to why they're doing so poorly in Division 4A is that they had him on the roster to start, and that caused them to go into the 4A split instead of probably should have been a 4B team if he's not playing like he hasn't been this season.
So, do you think?
So-
I think.
so
I
I
think
think-
it's more.
I think the
will one of these
standings-
teams rise?
I think the standings say exactly the way they are.
Okay.
Like in terms of who's in the playoffs and who's out. LBB and Nomads.
And
So the
so
other
you don't want to
angle here-
disparage the great name of Junior Sparrow, the
No, they're gonna make the
honorable,
they're-
beautiful man.
They have
that
the
was Junior Sparrow.
and they have the honor of making the playoffs.
Great. I honestly hope so.
Yeah.
Like, there's not a team I pull for more because just my emotions than
Yeah.
Spears Cougars.
Yeah.
So the other angle to look at here is that likely Brotherhood aren't getting caught from the points perspective
Yeah.
in Conference B North, but Takeover, I mean, they could potentially be lapped by Mongoose or arguably even Nomads potentially with the right
Nomads.
schedule and the right circumstances. I don't think it's going to happen necessarily, but it's possible.
Mathematically possible. Yeah.
Yeah. It is mathematically possible. let's leave it at that. I don't think it'll happen.
Yeah.
But Takeover's points against also don't really help at all.
And Sparrows Cougars can kind of, it's again not mathematically, but kind of disparage Nomads' hope. They play each other this week. Sparrows Cougars versus Nomads. So
Yeah.
they can kind of set the tone
Basement dweller matchup.
Yeah, well, they're in the playoffs.
My
They
favorite
can,
kind.
they
There
can
we
just kind of confirm their spot by beating just beat Nomads, and you've pretty much assured yourself the spot.
And 4B, who matches up with Montagnard?
In 4B, not many teams do. Again, another undefeated like KGP Raw. They're 8-0. The U.
Just because they always.
Just because
I think the Montagnard did beat the U this season.
no, they did not. The U's only loss came to Vultures.
Oh, my bad. It was
and,
Vultures.
And the U didn't have Evan Frank or Joe Cano there, and maybe and it was Nicky Papich throwing.
Montagnard have finessers and Les Vaches left on their schedule.
Virchful is getting better, though.
They are, yeah.
It's just the inconsistency at quarterback. But A, Guillaume Bellan started showing up.
Yeah.
And B, it's the whole team's good. So it's just it's a matter of all playing together.
Yeah,
I was watching them during Sphinx last night play against.
Wow, it was like 51-0.
Yeah.
Fun matchup.
And
LVF
it wasn't
plays,
even that close. Like they really put it.
Oh
on
right,
Sphinx.
yeah.
LVF plays the U this week. So that's gonna be a fun
okay.
It's gonna be a tough game for them though.
For who?
For Virchful.
Yeah.
That's just U is just another level
Yeah.
of competition.
So, but is Montagnard Les Vaches a trap game for them? Final game of the
yes,
season.
because of the athleticism.
Yeah.
Because like they can undercut routes and surprise you.
Yeah.
With just sheer athleticism. In A, I think that's it. It's the U and Virchful. Honey Martin, I think, matches up well. If it's like, let's say, like a championship matchup,
Yeah.
Honey Martin and Beer Belly Brigade, I think, are the two in terms of the way the rosters are built.
Not Vultures? Did you leave them out, or did you
I
just not
think
see them there?
I didn't. I think Montagnards would give Vultures a tough time. I think they're the kind of team.
But would Vultures give Montagnard a tough time?
Less so. I think it's not a comfortable game, but I think Vultures are susceptible to very systemic teams.
Yeah.
Who run really disciplined offensive systems.
Yes.
Montagnards are the most offensively disciplined team in the league.
Yeah.
In the division by a large stretch.
Yeah.
Like they're more disciplined offensively than a lot of 4A teams.
Yep. Fair point.
And so that's it's not from a talent perspective at all because Vultures believe me, I know top to bottom they're talented. But they to me the Montagnards are they do a thing that Vultures struggle against.
Yeah.
It all comes down to whether or not the rush can contain Benny is the other big part of that matchup, right? If it were ever
And
happening.
I mean, you mentioned Honey Martin. We actually we did play them.
Okay.
Lost by 8.
Yeah, but see, like that's a competitive game.
Yeah, because if it's not a pick thrown with by us with 4 or 5 minutes left in the game, we probably
Well, and I've said
the way the game was going, we probably score, and they probably scored too. But at that point, it's a tie game.
like Vultures and Honey Martin have probably the deepest 2 rosters in 4B in terms of like quality of players, like 1 through 9 or 1 through 8 or 1 through 10 or whatever it is.
Montagnard are right there too.
Yes, Montagnard as well. Yeah, they're lesser known commodities. The U as well. It's about that. Like that's that grouping of teams where it's like a notch up from the rest of the division. By we're splitting hairs too. Like I'm not saying they're dominant. Like like again, like you guys have what 4 wins?
Yeah, 4 and 3.
And you push Montagnards to like to a pretty tight game.
And you know what? That's what I love about this division. It was a really close game to Voodoo. It came down to the last play. We had to stop them from midfield with 2 plays left. So I mean, like this division's it's not easy.
Not at all.
Yeah. So when you're saying splitting hairs, it really is. It really is splitting hairs.
Who's your favorite to win for the quarterback of the year in 4B? Since I'm not involved in choosing award winners because I hate it.
And just
do you see why now? By the way, now that you've done it, do you see why it's terrible? Do you see how much hatred you have thrown at you?
But like again, you're splitting minute. You're like 1 touchdown more, 1 pick less. Like that's what you're making.
And like,
a decision
it's
off
like
of.
what's
Hashtag robbed.
Also, like sometimes rushing touchdowns used to get forgotten all the time.
Yeah.
And I was like, guys, rushing touchdowns count.
It's 6 points.
It's a touchdown.
On the board. Yeah.
Rushing yards count, and then it's like, how many yards matter versus how many touchdowns? Like, you know, like
finding an equivalent for that.
We don't have like anything standard either. Julien Fizessier, the fact that he's on an undefeated team, I know that wins aren't a quarterback stat, but you also can't win without your quarterback.
Yeah. I mean, it just goes kind of within, like, again, it's purely a stat-based award, but most touchdowns.
But wait, how many rushing touchdowns does Ben McMahon have?
3. I believe Fafard has 5.
5.
Roraldi has 4.
I like
McMahon has 2.
2. All right.
2.
That's not but
300
yards. Yeah.
Plus add 300 to his passing.
He's actually not running
to Fafard, though.
He's not running as much as I thought he would.
No. Well, I mean,
Fafard, by the way, most improved player in FPF from last season.
Yeah.
He's a different person.
Yeah.
Did they clone him and then like just run different simulations of Alex Fafard?
The other one works, makes money, and the other one
plays the other one just plays flag for a living. And like it's like, well, now he's reached optimal level. Like I was
where do you find the time? Yeah,
I was playing. It's rare in Div 4 where a quarterback can instantly read your defense and the ball's out of his hand before defenders or receivers make their break.
Yeah.
And I was like, wow, we're not winning this game. It was
you lost big.
It was the second drive. I was like, we have no chance. Like even if I score every drive, we have no chance.
Yeah.
That's how that felt. And we did not score, so it doesn't matter.
So who's
division? I think Fafard's 5 touchdowns is pretty big, but I think he's a little bit behind.
I mean, it puts him at 34 plus 400 rushing yards, so like 500 total yards of off. 1,500, sorry.
He's close though because he has one less game than Sear.
And the 2 picks. 2.
Yeah.
That's
because again,
the least.
he knows what your defense is running. Like it has to be a missed throw.
Yeah.
It has to be a missed throw. It's not his read.
Or the receivers drop a ball or tip it up or something stupid.
Exactly. It'll never be his decision. Yeah. I was so impressed, and his ability to run, his ability to throw on the run, his ability to buy time.
It's a complete player.
I thought Ben McMahon was a matchup nightmare, but it's like maybe not. He's not as fast, not as shifty, but his arm is a cannon, and his decision making is next level.
Yeah.
I was pulling for Frank K early in the season, and he's fallen off a little bit.
A little bit,
but he's been having a great season.
Yep. Yeah. Look, to put in the conversation for QB of the year, Julien Fizessier, Ben McMahon, Alex Fafard. Those are my top 3. Those are going to be the finalists. But speaking of that matchup,
Yeah. Who's better, Beer Belly or Vultures?
well, I mean, they just played,
Yeah.
and Beer Belly won.
So you're saying that one is a perfect sample size and will be perfectly replicable every time? Because
Well,
isn't your job to prove the opposite in your outside of FPF world? Is that you need to build systems that prove things over time?
and that are just stable.
Yeah.
Well, look, the question
So
is,
this is how you would approach this
The
in
question-
a non-football thing.
the question is, who's better,
Yeah.
Beer Belly Brigade or Vultures?
Mm-hmm.
They just played this week. You can't get more recency bias than this. Beer Belly won, and at first there was a bit of a misnomer in the score. There was an extra touchdown added by accident instead of the scorekeeper clicking first down.
Come on,
they
Nick,
clicked-
be better.
No, it wasn't me. I was playing. It wasn't me. They
You
clicked.
got so sad so quickly.
They clicked touchdown instead of first down. James Drysdale pointed that out to me. I'm like, yeah, it doesn't make sense. Like, you saw Fafard 15-yard touchdown on the first play, and then you just saw he kept throwing the ball, and it's just like, yeah, okay, it doesn't make sense. But who's better? I mean, if they play again, I kind of see the same scoreline happening.
I think it's if they play 10 times, it'll probably go 6-4 one way or the other.
Yeah.
I give an edge to Beer Belly Brigade.
I think because of the defensive side
Yeah.
of the ball.
The defense is really good.
I mean, and again, no
Matthew
disrespect
Pilot's
to-
really smart defender.
Yeah.
It's a really good team.
They're just a little more disciplined because they're both athletic.
Because I remember whatever they were called in Div 6.
The Siete Amigos? Los Siete
Los Siete Amigos.
Yeah.
And Alex Fafard, I was like, man, if this guy learns how to play this game properly, he's going to be a
It's
menace.
dangerous, yeah.
And I was like,
We're here.
I'll have like kids.
Three,
I'll
four
be
seasons.
retired from FPF. I'll be on the golf
He's
course.
He's here.
I'll never. No, it happened very quickly. It happened literally from last season.
Over a pandemic.
Yeah.
It took a pandemic to do it.
I have a question,
Go for it.
unrelated to anything in the script.
Yeah.
I felt this happened to me. I improved immensely during the pandemic with time away from FPF because it gave me time to reconsider my playbook, my concepts, how I use different people in my offense. And, of course, throwing the ball took some time to get back to. But if you look at my numbers before the pandemic and after, I'm a different person.
Yeah.
Alex David pointed this out to
pick
me.
sixes, yeah.
Yeah,
Less,
those are
much
less. But even the way the ball's moving, and you've pointed out the billion of attempts. But not just me, but like Alex Fafard is one of these guys too. Improved immensely. I've noticed it happening with certain people. So in my case, it was giving me time to think,
Yeah.
and it just going from one season to the next to the next to the next. I never really had time to consider what I was doing.
Yeah.
Do you think it's that, or do you think it could be something else?
Yeah, it could be that, but because it's, at least for me, it's not physically. Like, I'm
Oh,
slower.
it's definitely not physically.
It's
not physically.
Yeah, it's not physically. I got slower.
Yeah.
Like, some people that didn't get reps on my team are dropping more balls than usual.
Simon Dagenet in Division 2.
Yeah,
He was telling me he's like I don't have the same power in my arm.
Yeah,
It's gone. He's like,
yeah.
I was like, oh,
It doesn't look good.
I was like, dude, that happened to me a couple of years ago where I was just like, what happened?
Yeah.
Every single ball floats. Nothing's a spiral.
So
it's just.
it's not physically. So it
falls
must
apart.
be the mental. It
Yeah.
must be the mental part, and it must be.
Is it that the physical skills deteriorate? But in Alex Fafard's case, it's not the case at all.
No.
But Simo in Division 2, he's experiencing some difficulties, unfortunately. You've seen them play. I've only heard horror stories from my group chat with him.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. I don't have my mouse. I'm going to switch to my phone for full
Yeah,
time.
I saw that you were on your phone, and I closed the script, so
Yeah.
we're not doing well here.
Yeah, no. I'm gonna just do full disclosure. I'm really tired. I left my my charger for my computer and my mouse at work, and this computer is inoperable without a secondary mouse. Dell, you make trash computers.
It's inoperable.
Inoperable.
without a
With
second
an external mouse. Without an external mouse. Like a plug-in or.
You don't have a trackpad.
I do. It is garbage. It is inoperable.
You don't have
You
the
know?
clitoris?
No, I wish I had one. My whole life, I wish I had one, and I just don't. So continue on this topic while I load Division 1 and 2.
But also to talk about how tired you are, let's just give some perspective. Today's Thursday for those listening, and it's Friday or Saturday. Today is Thursday. I saw you yesterday, which makes that Wednesday. You saw me on the field. You're like, so you're good for calling the audible on Thursday? I'm like, you mean tomorrow? And you're like, yeah.
Had you not said it, I would not have come here today.
Yeah. So you would have been the one late, and
Yeah.
you wouldn't have given me.
Oh, it would have been the one home. I would have been the one not here.
Yeah. That's how tired you are.
It's a tough stretch. It's a tough stretch. But yeah, so and you know we talked about lightweight. But
Lightweight's in 3, by the way.
they're in 3. Never mind. We're gonna let's do Div 3.
All right, Div 3.
All right.
YOLO.
So Junkyard Dogs, they
Yeah.
just lost to past our prime. So looking at the Division 3 standings here, does that open the race for EZW to jump Junkyard Dogs for the number 2 seed in the playoffs? Look, the Dogs, they beat EZW earlier this year, so
So that's the thing that makes it difficult. That if they end with the same record, ECW stays a spot below them at best.
Yeah.
At best, it would make them the 3rd seed. Unless it's a 3-way tie, but even then, Junkyard Dogs have allowed far less points than ECW. Or not far less, actually. Actually, more points.
So let's look at
That
this.
changed quickly.
Let's look at this from a different perspective here. So let's try and do a little predictions on their schedule. So Junkyard Dogs have Mangoose, Expendables, and Les Malud. What do you think that's going to happen there?
So they have... What's the first one? I missed the first one, sorry.
Mangoose.
I think they win 2. I think they win at least 2.
yeah, they'll beat Expendables minus Carmen Police.
And we'll talk about that when we get
Yeah.
to 35 plus.
Yeah. You think what are the 2 wins? Expendables and
Mangoose or Malud?
I think they beat Mangoose, and they probably beat
Yeah.
Malud.
So there goes the
So,
Mangoose
3-0.
scenario of them likely catching.
right.
I mean, it's still technically possible
this is-
for 2nd place, but at that point,
so
first
like,
is
are you
gone.
thinking? Because before we were talking about Mongoose, this is Mangoose.
Mangoose? No.
It's
I'm
a
good.
different goose.
No.
Okay, so 2 and 1. EGW, they have Malud, Lightweight, and Bearskins.
Also 2 and 1.
Two-
Maybe.
It's not 3-0. It might be 3-0. That might be 3-0.
Yeah.
Who's the loss? I don't think Bearskins match up at all.
No, not Bearskins. The first game.
Malud.
Malud.
Malud match up well against
Yeah.
ECW. That's a good call because
Yeah.
stylistically, ECW is a very finesse team, and Malud are
Right
aggressive.
There, right there with
aggressive and physical,
Yeah.
and I don't know how they'll react to that. So like Malud don't have that kind of talent, but they play the way a Division 1 or 2 team plays. In terms of the way they break on the ball, the way they use a lot of tackle technique in terms of how they cover guys, a lot of hand fighting and stuff. Stuff that's not called in FPF.
Yeah.
Which is it's fine. Like that's especially as you move up in divisions.
It happens. Yeah.
Believe me, like
Yeah.
division, there's a line between Division 3 and 4,
Yeah.
and it's a very different game. And then from 3 to 2 and 1, it's even more different. You know, so yeah. That's to me, it's likely that they both win 2 games, and I can see a scenario where they both win 3. I think it stays as is because they have the tie break. What do you think?
Yeah. No. Exactly. It's they're gonna both. I see both going 2 and 1, and it's gonna stay as is, and again they have the tiebreak.
We're all in agreement that whoever wins Conference B North is the 2 seed up there. Like they're not gonna somehow manage to surpass Thor's Hammer or whoever grabs the South for the 1 seed.
Sorry, repeat your question.
Okay, Thor's Hammer
Yeah.
are currently.
Did you get that?
No.
Okay.
No,
It was the most awkward way you could phrase that question.
Okay, so
what about
right
you
now,
at home? Feel free to answer in the comments.
Right now, Thor's Hammer has the 1 seed.
Yes.
Yeah.
Correct.
Thor's Hammer has Past Our Prime and Expendables left on their schedule.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
So best case scenario, either Junkyard Dogs or EZW win all 3 of their games and finish with 16 points. But we just said it's likely going to be a 2 and 1, so
Yeah.
14.
Yeah.
Which means that Thor's Hammer has to win both of their games against POP and
Right.
Expendables
Yeah.
to keep the 1 seed.
Which
Junkyard
probably
Dogs
do.
has the tie break against Thor's Hammer if it gets to that point.
Okay.
EZW,
and they have a
don't
game in hand. So I think a fairly likely scenario is Junkyard Dogs finish 1, even though Thor's Hammer are the 1 seed right now.
Right.
I think but if it's a 3-way tie,
No, so the way it works is there's
it
a
can
fight.
be a 3-way tie.
Yeah, there has to be a winner from each division, and
Okay.
then they would tie 1 and 2 essentially, right? That's the only way.
So it can't be a 3-way tie, basically.
No.
Okay. So now the head-to-heads matter, in which case ECW is third at best.
Yep.
So I think ECW settles into a 3 spot. That's the most likely outcome.
So
Which
there's
is pretty
still a
nice, yeah.
possibility that Silent Ticklers win all 3 of their games and potentially push Thor's Hammer for the top seed. Silent Ticklers have Ligro Cook, Bearskins, and Killer Bees left on their schedule. They have to win all 3 in order for this to basically happen.
So interesting.
Not necessarily, but I mean,
Yeah,
it's up there.
Pretty much.
I think there's also a decent scenario that it stays this way, because I think Thor's Hammer win the next 2 almost guaranteed.
And
then Junkyard Dogs and ECW are far more likely to lose a game than Thor's
Yep.
Hammer.
Yep.
Did Thor's Hammer play ECW Eags?
no, they didn't.
They didn't. So then it would probably go points against, in which case ECW looks to be the favorite. So there's a scenario, actually, if ECW wins out and Junkyard Dog lose a game and Thor's Hammer wins out, I think ECW takes the 1 seed.
That's crazy.
That's wild.
That's crazy. Sitting at 5 and 2.
So we talked about how Alex Fafard is the most improved player over the last from season to season.
Yeah.
If we go 2 seasons, the most
3 or 4. Yeah.
Jeremy White.
Oh yeah.
Jeremy White, from whenever we broke for COVID to now, another guy improved during the pandemic.
Yeah.
Here's another wild scenario. Expendables have 3 games left. Speed Academy, Junkyard Dogs, and Thor's Hammer. I don't think it's possible, but they could also go 3-0.
Who's this?
Expendables.
I don't know.
I don't think so,
Yeah.
but maybe.
Expendables have a tough schedule and injuries.
I agree with you.
Yeah.
But there's a chance they could also push for the 1 seed in the South.
Right.
Yeah.
So Jeremy White improvement. Yeah, I think it was the winter 2018 where he was in Division 6 in the finals. Losing
Like, we
to
knew
the
he
U.
wasn't Div 6 caliber at the
Yeah,
time.
Yeah.
But, like, I always thought, like, okay, he's going to be a guy who settles nicely into Division 4, Division 3. And then,
Yeah.
like, now
Which is where
I
he
can
is.
see him Division 2 easily, especially after the fall. Like, I was like, oh, he's competing against these really,
Yeah.
like, they weren't winning a lot of games, but he's putting up a lot of points against these really
Yeah.
good teams, you know?
Yeah, you have a fair point. I would have said, I mean, you said I could see him, topping out at Division 3, 4. I mean, that's where he is, but yeah, that's not his ceiling.
Like, kind of.
But you thought the point you're making is you thought that's what his ceiling was, and it's not. He's
Yeah.
here and he's like 5 and 2.
Yeah.
he's doing well. So his ceilings, it is Division 2.
The way
You're right.
Jordan Panetta or Tam Vildeth are Division 2 quarterbacks, I see him as a similar skill set. A guy who
Yeah.
can move, guy who's got a good arm, smart, makes the most of his athletic ability,
Yeah,
doesn't
he's-
rely too heavily on his athletic ability. And
I
that
see
decision making
the
is improving
Tam.
quickly.
I see the Tam comparison
Well, it's
more than Panetta. Panetta has an arm.
yeah, but Panetta used to move a lot more
Okay.
too.
You-
So
okay, I'm
Yeah.
thinking more the
it's
what
more
I've
older
seen.
FPF.
Yeah,
But yeah,
the more
Panetta
recent
does have a
Panetta.
rocket though.
Yeah,
that's
yeah,
for sure.
yeah.
That's for sure. Although Jeremy's got a surprising arm too.
Yeah. No. He does.
The
but
ball gets there quick.
yeah.
I was surprised when we were playing him in co-ed. I was like, all right, I don't remember him throwing that way.
Yeah.
So this week, if Killer Bees get the win combined with the Mangoose loss, is the 6th playoff spot all but wrapped up? Killer Bees have POP, Blessed, Silent Ticklers. Mangoose have JYD, Speed Academy, Lightweight.
But there's
That's a nice way to end the season. for Mangoose.
yeah. They're 2 bottom teams there. They just have the JYD. That's going to be tough. Yes. If but I mean yes, if they get the win against Mangoose, if they win plus a Mangoose loss, it's just that Mangoose has Speed Academy and Lightweight, so no.
I think Mangoose has 2 wins there to win the season.
Yeah, and they will be they're like a 5-point underdog against JYD, 5.5.
I'm handicapping. I like this.
Yeah,
Give me the
yeah.
action. Yeah.
I'm playing to your
Yeah, you got my
your-
attention.
yeah.
Especially, I didn't have
Tantalizing you.
time to put any bets on the Masters. So
So no, if Killer Bees get the win and Mangoose lose, I think Mangoose are still at play here.
I think Mangoose make the playoffs.
Yeah.
Looking at the schedule that remains, I think Mangoose make the playoffs because I think Killer Bees will struggle to go 2-1. I think Killer Bees will struggle to go 2-1. I think Mangoose will at least go. They'll go 2-1. They won't be blessed. But so Eagle, did they play each other?
Let's
Mongoose and
check that
Killer
because
Bees?
that's
Because that'll
let's
be
go
that's what
check
it's gonna
that out
come-
specifically here.
Yeah, because that's what it's gonna come down to potentially.
I don't see it. Do you?
Control F.
No, I did that.
No.
Mongoose, no. Okay, so it's
So I think Mongoose can make the playoffs.
yeah.
That would be wild.
That's crazy because of their sub 500 record and a 4-3 team not making it. Yeah, that is pretty wild.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, we started the segment talking about my good buddy Simon Dagenet,
Yeah.
whose wedding we're finally booking rooms for because he got to get married off planet Earth. But anyway, I
hear
digress.
Mars is really nice in June.
Sorry?
I hear Mars is really nice in June.
But I hear there's no water.
And I hear you're getting 50% off the hotel room.
Well,
I know. I just leave it at that.
Wow.
You're getting 50% off
There
because
is
the
that.
rates doubled since 2020.
yes.
So they're honoring the price by giving you 50% off.
and it's because it's with the wedding, it's a special rate.
Yeah.
I'm looking forward to booking the honeymoon suite for the night before his wedding,
Ooh.
and taking lots of pictures and sending
You're
it to them.
booking it for him or
No, for
you're
myself.
staying?
My wife and I will be staying in that room one night only, the night before his wedding, and then we'll switch to another room.
You know you're not getting married again.
Oh, I know. We just want to use his honeymoon suite, take pictures of what it looks like before the cleaning crew comes. And then it was my wife's idea too. That's the best part.
Nice.
But yeah, so no, they played against Expendables. Expendables won by 6 points.
Yeah.
But is that more embarrassing to Expendables, or is the embarrassment that Gino DeFazio and Simon Dagenet combined for five interceptions?
I think the 5 picks are slightly more embarrassing. Yeah, that's a lot of turnovers in one game.
When I started in FPF, Gino DeFazio was a legitimate Division 2, Division A quarterback. And obviously, like me, he's gotten older, and the physical skill set diminished a little bit. I just thought that his knowledge of the game would develop, and like, for example, when we faced him in the co-ed playoffs, I was like, oh, that's the Gino I know. Like he knows what's open all the time. But it hasn't translated when playing the higher divisions.
Yeah.
And I feel like, especially now with the injury to Carmen Police, it's a go-to for Gino, and it's not there. It's an outlet that he always has, and it's not there. And then Simon has struggled with turning the ball over as long as I've known him.
And
He's a
it's just-
gunslinger. He likes to rip it in there,
but he can't rip it in there anymore.
But I actually have not been at the field at the same time as lightweight, which sucks for Justin Blanchard, who plays on both teams.
Right. Yeah.
But what's it like? What have you seen when you've seen lightweight play?
So I've only seen when I'm turning my back to my game because I'm not.
But you've seen a couple of throws,
bananas and ducks and not good. At least the deep ball. I haven't seen.
But that's the thing is so for all of his flaws, Simon was always good at throwing a deep ball.
Yeah.
And that's not there.
Yeah.
So he needs to develop new parts of his playbook.
Yeah, the intermediate game and then
He
adjust.
hates that.
Yeah.
He hates it.
Well then.
He likes checkdowns and deep balls.
His deep ball has to be the 10-yard ins and 15-yard hooks.
It's an adjustment then.
Yeah.
That's a new playbook for Simon Dagenet.
Doesn't he have to look to your playbook?
Hey, he's gonna hate that. He's gonna hate that. But yeah, because I've made that realization that I'm not that guy, so I had to find creative ways to use that.
Yeah.
So hopefully, Simon comes a long way. But so then why do you think it is that Gino DeFazio, with the knowledge he has, with a better current skill set than Simon Dagenet, why do you think he struggled as much?
I think playing in I'm not saying anything controversial by saying the co-ed tier 2 is lesser quality than Division 3. It would be stupid to suggest otherwise. But it's just
the cap indicates that as well, right?
Yeah, exactly. So I maybe just seeing a slower paced game, maybe even coaching junior, just the idea of just a different game with slower players on the field. Maybe it's that he hasn't adapted to the speed. He has his guy. He has his. .72 yards and a TD. It's just maybe now the unfamiliarity with the other guys running the routes, and then the defense. I don't want to say reading because it's really hard to read him and make a break on the ball because he has a rocket of an arm. When he's throwing a 5-yard out, he's throwing it to the sideline, and he's throwing it in a place where only his receiver can get it. And
his sideline passes are the strength of his game for sure.
Yeah. So it must be the intermediate to deep ball game that is just not working for him. It must be that.
Could an argument be made that Nick Rizzo-Gomes merits votes for receiver of the year over Thomas Kutsu? Or is the touchdowns more the determining factor as a voter for player awards?
Yes,
how
please tell us how you usually vote.
Tell us how you vote.
I might not do it this year anymore.
Sorry, Alexi, you're on your own.
So I saw it. You know what? Kudos to Mo. He wrote part of the script here. I'm like, Mo, I think you wrote the wrong Gomez in there because
thanks for fixing it on the script.
No, he is referring to Nick Gomez Rizzo.
Okay.
That's why me too. I was like, wait, did he mean AJ Gomes? Because 17 TDs. But if you click on the yardage, Eagle, and sort by yardage, that's what he's referring to. So he's referring to the 90% target and reception ratio that Nick Gomez Rizzo has, 41-50. His 457 yards, but only his 3 touchdowns.
It's not enough.
It's not. No. It's
Although Alex David once made this point. He's like, if I make 3 catches that sets up a touchdown, and somebody else just happens to catch the same route I ran before and catches it in a different place, obviously it's more valuable for points. But why does it matter more in terms of just statistical value?
So I get the point, but it is different.
It's just the way we understand the game of football, right? Like,
not even that.
Okay.
Not even from. I know what you're saying. That I'm just making a catch. Crossing a goal line.
Like if I catch it at the 1 yard line.
A white line.
Otherwise known as the Alex Davis specials. Catch them on the 1 yard line and giving the touchdown to somebody else.
To me, it's the pressure of the touchdown catch.
See, as a receiver, there's no difference. To me, when I've played receiver, there's no difference catching it in the end zone.
No, there is.
Really? Soft.
Yeah,
soft.
A last play of the game, you're on the 5 yard line. It's just different than being on your own 10 and catching a 5 yard out.
The only time that would ever enter my mind is if the ball's in the air for 6 hours.
Kind of like
because nobody don't have time to think. If I'm throwing it, then everyone has that fear for sure. But I'm saying like if you're the guy receiving it, I remember playing with quarterbacks with my quarterback in Division 3 and Division B, and there's no time to think. The ball's on you.
Yeah.
It's either you catch it or you go for dental surgery.
So let me rephrase that. It's not while you're running the route and balls in the air. Those are split-second things. It's the on the line waiting for the HUD, the heart's pumping a little faster, the hands are like shaking just a little bit.
I love five plays remaining. It's my favorite thing in the world. I love it. It's
I'm
my
just
favorite
saying
thing.
that
my heart rate slows down. I'm a weirdo, I guess.
Yeah, you're fucked up.
I'm a weirdo.
I was getting nervous for you yesterday.
0% nervous. I was 0% nervous.
I love that. But yes, that to me is the one difference that it truly is.
I think though, I will say playing quarterback, I think helps that feeling because you're responsible for everyone.
Yeah.
So you can't be nervous.
Yeah.
You're not allowed to be nervous.
Yeah.
And like that's something you develop over time.
Right. So
I think Thomas Kutsu has a decent argument.
I mean, well, that's what Mo was trying to say here. Is like, look, he has
because he has 1 game less also. So if he
2 games less there, it's 9 versus 7.
Oh, 9. Sorry.
Yeah.
It's far.
There's a bit of a glare on the screen.
Yeah, I saw 8. But so he can definitely catch them or get close in touchdowns.
But he has 100 more yards and
the thing
and 9 more TDs.
The thing is, Mo mentioned the catch
games.
The thing was Mo mentioned the catch.
He has more receptions.
Yeah,
I know their catch ratio.
The catch ratio though, if you watch them play, Thomas Kutsu is the downfield threat.
Yeah.
So he's being thrown a lot lower percentage passes than AJ or Nick Gomez Rizzo.
Right.
And that can't be held against him. Look, catching AJ Gomez is gonna be difficult because 17 touchdowns is a lot.
Well, yeah,
he might put up 3 more this week, and then if he's at 20,
exactly. I mean, even if you just
you can't not give it to if he's the only guy with 20 touchdowns. I know what I just said about touchdowns. You can't not give it to the guy with 20.
Yeah,
right. Like it's got to go to the guy with 20.
No, exactly. So like, not even comparing Nick Gomez Rizzo to Thomas Kutsu, who has more yards and 9 more TDs. You have to give it over to AJ Gomes. I mean, 17 TDs, and he has 100 less yards. but he has 14 more touchdowns than you. I'm giving it to AJ Gomes if it came down between them two. Like,
unless like it's like 20 touchdowns to 19 or 18 to 17.
Yeah,
or,
fair,
you know.
fair, sure.
Like
But
then you can start to consider
it's
it.
just 3. Again, nothing against.
But again,
him,
like the 5 touchdown difference is a byproduct also of the less games played. He does have
5 touchdown difference.
Yeah, because it's 17 to 12.
No,
because you're talking about.
I'm talking about
Nick.
Nick.
Yeah.
I'm
But see,
talking
like
about 3
Nick again
TDs.
it's a product of the role he plays.
Yeah, sure.
He catches a lot of the underneath stuff. He gets a lot of yak.
Yeah.
He's great at that.
Yeah.
But that also means you can score less touchdowns.
Yeah.
He's a shorter receiver too. So like AJ's really tall. He's a great red zone threat. So I think that plays a role.
Having given awards in the past and looked at it, I'm looking at stats on a flat sheet.
Yeah.
I'm not looking at the game.
Well, I know that
play.
when you guys send me like a tie break, I just ask for it with no names.
Yeah.
And
The
I'm
blind
voting based on-
stats. Yeah.
You know.
So no, he, in my opinion, that's not. It's not even in the top 3 conversation for receiver of the year or offensive player of the year.
Yeah, unless like he really goes off and catches 6 touchdowns this week, and we can start looking at it.
Yeah,
But even then, it'd be under 10.
Yeah,
It'd still be in single digits.
He'd have to be.
The catch ratio is nice to have.
Yeah, it's cool.
But we also don't know, like, if it's guys like snappers, for example, are all going to have very high catch ratios because they're catching like shorter passes, and usually they're wide open. Someone just drops in coverage and that slot's open, and you're wide open. Yeah. Whereas like a guy's running posts and flies all game long, like it's going to be difficult.
Mm-hmm.
It's going to be difficult. Yeah, it's an interesting conversation.
It is. Yeah,
I don't think
it is.
changes.
He would have to have 300, 400 more receiving yards than the next leading receiver.
Yeah.
I feel this is like the tackles to interceptions conversation that we get on the defensive side, just less prevalent.
The tackles
Prevalent,
and PDs?
perhaps?
Yeah, because it's like, oh, well, this person had 10 interceptions. Yeah, well, this person has 300 tackles.
So how is it prevalent for you? And there's no I in the word.
What?
He's
There's no prevail in the word prevalent.
He's criticizing the way you
Oh,
said
yeah.
prevalent.
Yeah.
Because you understand the amount, like for a guy who's really smart,
Yeah,
his inability to speak the English language
There's a few
is
words
mind-boggling.
I fuck up. Is it preface or preface?
Preface.
Yeah.
I've heard someone say preface.
It's not before your
Other than
face.
me.
It's not before your face.
I don't want to go and say the Justin Trudeau version of that either.
Well, that was his preface. It was pre a time where he could get in trouble for that face.
Prime Minister. Yeah.
But likewise, Eagle, is it bona fides or bona fides?
Definitely fide.
I hate you so much.
That one I've never heard. That's seriously.
When you know Latin people.
No, of course it's bona
Wait,
fide.
you should know Latin people. You are Latin people.
I wouldn't say bona fide.
I've heard it because it might be the same word in Spanish. I'm not sure.
I don't think so.
I'm only learning the language, guy.
On the fly.
Yeah.
So we
It's
moving.
giving me unite. You know, like I'm having a hard time with it. 35 plus.
You are.
No, we're doing that later.
Oh,
Yeah.
it's true. We have an important call to make. Let's go Div 1, Div 2.
Yeah.
I'm trying to specifically screw with Eagle. And
I
go
thought you were
completely out of order.
You were trying to screw with me too because I'm like that's not an excellent list here.
With 2 games in hand, who is more likely to catch and jump over the hunted?
So that's a Mo question.
That's a Mo question, huh?
So what he's trying to say, if you see the
Who's the hunted?
so
The hunt is on.
It's the next.
The hunt is on.
Look at the next line.
Oh, I
And
thought they were different questions,
I
Mo.
know.
Guess why did you just put it with? Oh,
A spacing in between. Yeah, it looks like a separate point. And then maybe I should have put it closer.
this show is full of people who I love,
But
with
hate.
equal amount that I experience hatred. Yeah. Gryffindor is the 4 seed over Braves, the 3 seed. I don't understand what that means. They won the first game by 20 points. Okay, so he means they won.
So to rephrase it, so with 2 games in hand, who's more likely to catch and jump the team that they're right behind? Gryffindor at the 4 seed trying to catch Braves in the 3 seed, or All Stars at the 2 seed trying to catch Flagmo Alsac at the 1 seed.
So you read the script before the
Yes,
show.
I did
Thank
read
you.
it, and I'm the one who put the
Appreciate it.
3 and the 4th seed because I read it and I'm like, I don't understand what he's saying. I looked at the standings.
You
and
could
then I'm
have
like,
given me the rest of this lifetime and several more.
and you wouldn't have.
I would never have understood that question. I
And-
would have
and-
erased it and written something else.
And the point he's trying to make is that Gryffindor at 4 and All Stars at 2 have 2 games in hand. They've only played 5 games, whereas Braves and Flagmo Alsac have played 7.
Well,
So,
tell us who
can
they're playing, Eagle. Who does All Stars have ahead?
All Stars. Let me go bring up their schedule.
Yeah,
here.
and while you bring it up, and
While he's bringing that up,
Yeah.
can you get the list for Flag West?
yeah, and
So-
I'd love to do it, but I have computer issues.
They have.
I almost erased the script 4 times. So
So All Stars have 5, 4, 5, 4. Why is it?
why are you saying 4-5-4?
you're just saying random shit.
Okay. How many
Thanks for
games?
tuning in, folks.
How many games do you see listed here right now?
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. I
Correct.
only see 9.
Correct.
Carlo. so
I don't.
so let's
okay.
base it on the 9 games they have.
They have Got Skills,
Tough week, eh, guys?
Gryffindor, All Hooks, FMS, and Mystery Team Number N. Like,
Well,
who
mystery
knows?
team's gonna be tough. They can't prepare for that one. They should beat Got Skills. Gryffindor is gonna be interesting. They should beat All Hooks, and Flag. It's good. I have a feeling it'll come down to Flag West Sac.
Yeah.
Because like, at best they'll go 3-0 into that game, but I see a scenario definitely where Gryffindor win and it's 2-1. Dan Lazar's starting to catch his footing, looking a lot more like himself. What do you think? What's Flag West Sac schedule?
Yeah, so they have.
Are all their games listed?
I'm checking now. 3, 6, 7. Yes, they have all the 10 games.
Nice.
So they're 6-1, and they have Gryffindor, Got Skills, and All Stars. That's tough, especially with the Gryffindor.
Well, so they don't have any crossover games left.
in Division 2. No.
All Stars might have 2 crossover games because they have All Hooks.
Yeah, All Hooks and Got Skills, if I'm not mistaken. Got Skills is the top seed right now in Division 2.
Yeah.
So, yeah, they have 2 crossover games. So,
I see. Oh, yeah. And so they might have a third one because the 10th game we don't know. But so Fly One Sac's not getting out of that unscathed. I think it comes down to last week. I think that comes down to last week because Fly One Sac's going to lose at least one of those games.
yeah.
It's a tough schedule.
I like them running the table there.
Look, they're my favorite team in
Yeah,
FPF history.
yeah, you've said it. This whole
They're fun.
calling
They're
the audible
just
season.
fun.
Yeah.
They're fun to watch, and it's the fact that they can put up points on anybody.
Anybody. Anyone, anytime.
Yeah.
Like
Like-
snap of a finger.
And it's partially because they hadn't played in a while, and partially because of the pandemic, and they don't play every season.
Right.
But Alexander Hughes is up there with Dan Lazare, Kevin
Yeah.
Wyeth, in Braves.
Joe Mayer.
Jome,
Yep.
it's not a top 3, it's top 4. It's a Mount Rushmore of quarterbacks in FPF, and,
Yep.
and he absolutely is.
Oh,
up
he's there. Yeah.
Yeah, I think it comes down to the last game. What do you think?
So between them, yeah. No, I mean I think I like I said I see.
So in
Flag
your
One
scenario,
Sac-
for it to come down to the last game, it'll have to be that Flag One Sac
well, I think they're
wins both games, and All Stars also win all the games.
all their games.
So and then it comes down to the last game.
right, which I don't. Which I don't think so.
solved the issue. All Stars is playing Gryffindor in another week. The game got moved. That's why.
I mean, it could just say TBA. Like that could have been helpful to us. Yeah. So definitely, okay. They already have 2 Division B games, so it doesn't matter.
So All Stars play Gryffindor twice. Then
Yes.
yeah, that's
Yeah.
they get. You see right there, they're gonna let's just say flip of a coin and say they go 1-1 against Gryffindor, right?
Yeah, that seems fair.
So that's already too little for me. In my scenario where
Based on the fact that you think
Flag
Flag
One Sac
One
will go
win the
3-0.
Yeah.
They'll finish.
It's Flag One
1-0.
Sac. It's back to back to back like good teams.
Yeah.
You know, so yeah. So you said God Skills is a Div B team. They're not.
Oh, I was thinking Terror Squad. I'm sorry.
No,
Yeah.
no worries.
I'm thinking.
I thought so, and I was like, oh, yeah, caught.
No,
And
no,
then-
no, no,
okay.
no, no.
So they have
my bad.
one.
It's okay to
crossover.
think they're not talented enough for Div 1.
You should tell them in person. You know.
Yeah, they're gonna love me.
No, they know. They knew coming into the season. Obviously, they're not the same class as like All Stars, but like kudos to them, by the way, because it's not for like they're very talented. It's just there's just that little, that little bit of
notch.
notch. Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely.
Is
Is it
Tam coming back from injury too, which is also impressive.
Yeah. Well, we've been saying that all season. Like the fact that he's come back and been this good so quickly from an arm injury, right?
Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
that's a big deal.
Happy birthday, Tam, by the way.
Is
It
it
was
his birthday? Or was
yesterday?
it?
Today?
Well,
I mean, by
happy
now
birthday.
it would have definitely been yesterday because by the time you're hearing this, but it was earlier this week. So
Yeah.
He's only played 2 games though with God Skills.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
for whatever.
But I
that's
think because
worth.
is he the replacement for Tommy Rodi Trojados?
Oh
Huh?
no, it's Chentomo.
Yeah, Santomos.
Yeah. Tintomo usually throws.
Oh,
for
I
him.
fucked up here. My bad.
It's been a rough week.
I'm thinking Terror Squad. I'm stupid.
Right?
I was
That's why I was thinking
because
Terror Squad.
I was saying in my head, I was like, I've seen Dave throw for them
It's because I
this
think
season.
I see that orange jersey and then I just think Terror Squad and then
So-
I said Division 2.
Guys, got skills. Just change your jersey back. The gray ones are great. Just go back to the gray. So is it a 2-horse race between Incredibles and Apocalypse for the final spot?
Quite literally, no, Mo. Why do you write this script?
Yeah.
I
What?
love it. I whenever it's a Mo question, I leave it as is.
Okay, so we have a whole bunch of teams still in contention for the bottom seeds. Team Swoosh can still
Including
technically
hashtag
win through.
NR, by the way.
Yeah, they could.
They might be the final spot.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So Team Swoosh could go 3-0 and get some seeds. Now they have Apocalypse, hashtag NR, and Terror Squad.
No.
Possible. I'm not saying it is happening, but
They-
possible.
they might win one.
Outlaws have 4 games left. Incredibles.
See, so like just based on that, it's not a 2-horse race.
No, exactly. Yeah.
Because they have an extra game.
Incredibles, KGP, B-Ballers, Urgence Music. Now, possible.
That's potentially 2 wins.
Incredibles have Outlaws, Party Crashers, and Gryffindor.
That's rough.
That's tough.
Yeah, that's a wrap on Incredibles.
Apocalypse have Team Swoosh, Terror Squad, and KGP.
So that's 1, maybe 2 wins.
And hashtag NR, even though they are technically in 7th, I mean, it's possible they get caught. Party Crashers, Team Swoosh, and All Hooks.
They don't get caught.
No, they're making the playoffs.
And they're not getting the 8 seed either.
So
It's not a 2-horse race between the Apocalypse and the Incredibles.
it's between
Incredibles
the
are
Apocalypse.
done.
It's between
Count
the
it.
Apocalypse and Outlaws.
Yeah, that's it.
So he just got the team wrong.
It's because he just looked at the standings, clearly. Not the schedules. And not that Outlaws have 6 games played.
Yeah.
I remember there was a moment last season where Mo was like, his answer to every question that week was,
Oh, I remember.
look at the
this.
standings. It's like,
What-
well,
what-
then
what-
why do we have
why-
a show?
why are you
if you're
not
not analyzing,
yes.
then just instead of the show, just look at the standings page.
The analysis show. I remember that. That was hilarious.
Again, the people who I love the most, who I also hate the most.
And I know why. You know what? I know why he said that. Even more so, it's looking worse. Even more so now, because Outlaws only got their first win yesterday, and he
probably wrote it before,
I
yeah.
believe he wrote it before. So Outlaws were 0-5.
Oh, congrats to Outlaws for the first win in Div 2.
Yeah, and they crushed 52-6.
Who'd they play?
Team Swoosh.
Okay.
To be fair, but
Team Switch, though, that's a rough goal, man.
Yeah.
56 points in 7 games.
oof. Oh,
That's
yeah,
rough.
yeah.
But still, it builds some confidence, and hopefully, I don't think Outlaws are outclassed, by the way. I just think
No, it's
that
just
they haven't played
crazy
this-
matchups.
and they haven't played this level of competition yet.
Yeah, because Div 3 is not. It's not
No,
the same thing. It's not the same.
We just said, like, to me, the actual biggest jump in caliber is Div 3 to Div 2.
Yeah. I would
in
agree,
FP,
yes.
across
Yeah,
FPF
yeah,
is the
yeah,
biggest, biggest jump.
And even though they played in Tier 1, and again,
It's not the same.
Nothing against Jean Smith-Zik and KGP, but that's more of what Outlaws can probably play with.
Well, plus, I mean, can you argue that this last fall didn't have teams at their prime, right? Because already some people either couldn't play or didn't want to play.
Yeah.
Teams are coming back from an extended break and still ramping up. So even then, the tier 1 talent team structure was probably
Diluted,
not anywhere exactly diluted, not anywhere compared to the matchups they're getting this time.
Where do we stand on B-ballers? They lost to sort of the best team. Oh, sorry, I'll just use I'll use all of those words. They have lost to the cream of the crop in D2, but have run riot on weaker teams of this division. I tried to use Mo's cadences also.
Pat Riot.
Pat Riot? Yeah, they've run Pat Riot.
This is the Will Trottier B Ballers led team, right?
Yeah.
4-3. And what's the question?
What do you think of them?
Where do we
they won the
stand?
last
Where do we
two.
stand? No, we need to. The three of us
Where do I
need
stand
to have a final stance
on Mount
by the end of this segment on B-ballers.
No, I wasn't going to have a final stance. I was going to have a where do I stand? I stand on Mount Rushmore of B-ballers.
Because
That's where I
what
stand.
does that mean?
I just stand there.
Okay.
I stand
But what
on
does
He's
the Mount Rushmore have to
occupying
do with
a
it?
square of space, a square foot of
I'm
space.
That's where
Okay,
I'm
so let me
standing.
change the question because clearly moment where are you physically standing? When is our show's final stance on B-ballers?
Look, I'm gonna do the classic mode. They're 4-3. So
Cool. Thanks.
no.
Lots of analysis.
No. Again, to actual analysis here is that they're crushing teams according to Mo. I mean, they played Gryffindor without Dan Lazara in week 2.
Which was a great break for them because that's an extra win that they wouldn't have had.
Exactly. So instead of a 4-3, they probably should have been 3-4. Who are they beating? They're beating, Incredibles and Team Swoosh, putting up 40 points in the past 2 weeks, but losing to #NR. Beating the Apocalypse is a pretty nice win. So I you know what
Technically, they have a win against Gryffindor, but it was like the super unmanned Gryffindor.
So I'm gonna tell you what Peace told me. You're not listening to the show because I just said that 30 seconds ago.
Yeah.
You know what? It's actually not a bad question by Mo because I don't really know where my stance is on them.
Okay.
Because of the
how about I offer a stance?
Because of the win against
and
the
then we'll
Apocalypse.
work it out. We'll work it out on air. You tell me if you agree with the stance, which part of the stance we have
Yeah.
to change. I think they're immensely talented.
Yeah.
I think that part of the team has high division experience. Some of the team has high tackle level experience, as in the case with, I know Jeremy Murphy's played 3 games, but 3 games is enough that he might be on the roster moving forward. Guillaume Bellin is, I've said it, when I saw him play against me, I was like, that dude is a Division 1 player. And it was shocking to see him in Division 4, right? So like he far outclasses his rating, right? I think that William Trottier is developing, like, for a team that's not really been the top of the division, 23 touchdowns, 5 interceptions. It's not a ton of scoring, but it's protecting the ball.
Yeah,
it's protecting
safe.
the ball.
Yeah.
And
He's good though. He's really good.
Yeah. Oh yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Well, this team is really good.
Yep.
Nicky Farinaccio is a monster.
Wait, what? I didn't see him on the. He's played all games.
I'm struggling here with my technology.
I don't see him in the receiving stats at all. So.
Oh, he played a single game. Sorry, my mistake. I saw him on the roster.
No.
Vincent Beauregard also
That
very talented.
Crazy. Yeah.
I think
Fred Sané-Lucier. Really
also,
good,
yes. Yeah.
Really good player too.
So it's guys obviously largely from the world of tackle. Charles Verreau, by the way, is a guy who dominated lower divisions.
Yeah.
So I think it's going to take them a moment. They're, to me, a classic developing roster, but they have enough firepower to be able to be competitive immediately.
And I think that, because I'm highlighting that game against the Apocalypse because that's a Jeff Rosenblatt led team with Brisebois, Paul Lapierre, Adam Rockman, Steven
it's
Osmond,
flag royalty, right?
and they beat them 32-20.
Yeah.
So yes, that does go to your point that they can put up the points and put up the points now.
And so, like, we said about Outlaws developing also, but I think they're having a hard time adjusting to the physicality of Division 2.
Yeah.
Whereas because of the tackle pedigree, it serves B-ballers.
Yes.
It serves B-ballers.
Yes. Yeah. I agree with. Yeah.
Official stance? Developing team, lots of talent, and we'll get there soon.
And slightly physical because of tackle experience. Yeah.
Official stance?
My
Official stance.
my square foot's gonna be somewhere in that corner.
But your official stance, not your official stand.
T-pose.
All right, there we go. Eagle is very flexible. Very flexible.
Downward dog.
Mm.
Yeah.
Absolutely. I forgot I was hosting the show. I
Uh,
was like, no one's speaking. No one's speaking.
well, yeah, we're moving to Division 5,
We are.
5A, 5B. And if we take a look at Division 5A first, the race for first place in conference.
How about I ask the questions?
Yeah, go for it.
'Cause I'm
I
hosting the show.
I was trying
Now
to
that
help
he
you.
remembered he's hosting
Now
the
that I
show.
remember, because
Okay.
I got caught again. Because as you were talking, I was like, as if I was listening to Mo. The race for first place in Conference
Wait,
A.
you listen to Mo?
Not well. How will it play out with Ghost, Balls Deep, Backwoods, and Ravens? Or any of these teams overrated? I love this, by the way, because we're
Yeah.
the media, right?
You're right.
So
We
we
get
are
to
the
o-
ones applying the rating
Yeah.
and then deciding if we over or under. I find it the dumbest thing in sports media to discuss over and underrated.
But it makes sense here because we're the ones rating them.
But then why would we overrate them?
Well, because
we're
because
stupid.
because the rating was in
So,
the past.
I
and now
love lasagna. I give it a 95 rating. The next week I ate lasagna, I'll be like, actually, you know what? Lasagna's an 83.
But it's
we don't do that in any other aspects of our lives other than sports. It's dumb.
But then why are you playing the games? You
Well, because I
you
won't
have-
put it on the script, so I have to read
you
it.
have a starting rating.
I am Ron Burgundy.
Your rating is based on your past performances.
Yeah.
And are you living up to?
Oh, but
those-
you're using rating literally, like the player rating.
oh, like 79.8.
I'm saying that Mo, out of a hat, decides I think this team is worth 6 wins, and then
Oh no, I'm talking about the
Okay.
actual rating.
okay, then
And-
sure.
Yeah, because it makes sense to. then
Is there a way to
over-
quickly calculate team ratings?
No.
Yeah.
All right.
Here's an.
So this is what we're gonna do. I'm gonna throw a team to you, and then you give me their team rating based on 0 to 100, and we'll tell you
I mean,
if
I can add them up if you really want me to.
No,
It's
no,
gonna
no,
take
no,
a
no,
while,
no,
though.
no,
I like
no,
this.
no,
I
no.
like
You give
this
us a
one.
random number, and we decide if you've over or underrated the team.
Is that even the original question?
I don't know.
Well,
Ghosts.
there is a rating. There is
Ghosts.
a rating question.
On 100?
On 100.
78.
78. So go start 5-2. They're leading the division.
No, that's underrated. 72, 78?
78.
Yeah. That's,
So 78 means they will win 7.8 games per season, right?
Oh, so finish.
I don't know.
So to finish 8-2.
You see what I mean about how this is stupid, right?
Yeah. Now I got it. Yeah.
Because what does 78 mean?
Yeah. But anyways.
Your way made more sense, but we would have had to prepare the calculations
Yeah.
of team costs and do like a cost analysis.
Yes.
So maybe here's a different way of looking at this. So again,
I liked my way. It's chaotic.
the 1 and 2 seeds are determined by the division winners. So here is kind of the big question mark that we kind of need to
Okay, I see where
resolve
you're
here,
going. I like
okay?
this.
Ghosts are by themselves in Conference A East.
Yeah.
3 games left. They have Ravens, Streets Ahead, and Balls Deep. If they win any of those games, just a single game, they will clinch Conference A, right? There's no
A
chance
East.
any of the other 3 catch them.
A East.
A East, exactly. One of the 2
Not
top
Conference A.
seeds. Exactly.
Yeah.
So that's. Do you think that's likely to happen? Ravens, Streets Ahead, Balls Deep. Do
Yes.
they at least get a win or a tie out of those 3?
Yes.
Okay.
I'm a little more hesitant to say
You think
yes.
they're going to go 0 and
but
3?
I think
It's hard to believe.
I
that
think
they
they're
would
evenly
go-
matched with Ravens. I think they're
No.
close to Balls Deep. And
it's
it's
not
better
Balls
than
Ahead.
Streets Ahead.
Streets
Streets
Ahead, yeah.
Ahead.
He's the other one.
At the very least, they
they're-
beat Streets Ahead.
They run the Joey Taylor offense, Streets Ahead, and it's so annoying to play
Oh, I know.
against. It's 3 plays they run.
Yeah.
You know what's coming. You say stand right here.
We talked about offensive discipline, by the way. That's a system of offensive discipline where it's
God.
you have to make it forces a defender to choose between 2 people, and then the
Yes.
quarterback has to make the right decision every time.
It's so frustrating.
Yeah.
So look, I mean, the thing is, they could go 0-3. I hate to say it. I know it sounds crazy because they're 5-2, but they lost to Vultures 2.0, which I'm on that team. But I wasn't there for that game. That was they probably thought they would win that no problem, and they lost. Those are 3 teams that can beat them. It wouldn't shock me if they went 0-3. But it's crazy to say that because Gab Wiseman's on the team, and who else?
Well done. And them
No.
boys. And them boys. When you don't know,
Jamal Roach at
Yeah.
quarterback. Like they're good.
it's
players.
not Jamal Roach at quarterback.
Yes,
Oh,
it
it
is.
is.
It
My
is.
mistake.
No,
Yes, it's division.
yeah.
Sorry. There's so many variations of the same
Yes,
teams that
yes,
it's getting tough.
Yes. Okay. Zach Albert Gills is on it. Kenny Boutelier. They added Evan Eli Nolet. Like, it's just they have good pieces there. It sounds crazy, but I think they can go 0-3 in that. So they're not wrapping up that division.
Okay, so then
I disagree.
let's look into Conference A West. So all three teams are currently at 10 points.
So
5
what
and
is
2.
your random rating for balls deep?
Balls deep? Let's go with a 77.
Overrated, underrated.
On balls deep.
77.
Oh,
Yeah.
that's actually it's the rating.
Perfectly rated.
Yeah, perfectly.
Well
rated.
done, Eagle. Perfectly rated.
Thank you.
You've delivered my steak exactly medium rare.
Exactly.
Well done.
They have on their schedule left the Mighty Six, Buffalo Wild Wings, and then Ghosts as the last game for balls deep.
So what was the first one?
First one is Mighty Six. Mighty Six, Buffalo Wild Wings, and Ghosts.
So that's 2 wins.
Okay.
Yeah.
2 wins.
1 and 2.
Okay.
1 and 2.
Yeah.
So they're losing 2?
They're losing. So they're beating Ghosts, losing the Mighty Six, and Buffalo Wild Wings trap game.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay, you have a lot more faith in the Buffalo Wild Wings franchise than I do.
Their one win is against Vultures 2.0.
Oh, that's why. So it's personal.
Yeah.
You need it. You need it.
But
your
I'm
loss,
giving them the win.
You need your loss to
No, but
look.
I'm giving them
But
the
you
win.
need your loss to look more impressive.
I just think it's a trap game. Is the way? Like I know balls deep is better.
Yeah.
I'm just saying they could overlook Buffalo Wild Wings.
All right, then we get into Backwoods Football Club. I'm going to give them a 74 on the breakdown.
No, you're underrating them.
Yeah, because 77 was right on the bar, but 74 is way too low.
I am specifically underrating them for roster inconsistency because they don't have their star players in every single game.
That makes a huge difference because it's a good roster overall. Liam Gilmore is a really good quarterback for this division.
Yeah.
And
Hennessy was one of the leaders when he was.
Hennessy O'Reilly is a really good receiver.
Yeah. When he was there early on, he was leading the division in touchdowns and receiving yards.
And Skylar Bailiff is an emerging star in FPF. I don't know if he's like replacing, like I don't know, like we're in a weird spot where there's enough games that he could be playoff eligible, right? Like if he's replacing someone full time, if someone's dropped off the team.
Oh, he has
That's
2
what I'm
games
saying.
and they can play all 3.
They can play all 3.
Yeah,
so
yeah.
like I don't know because he's really good. Quay Johnson, also 2 games played. I mean like it's so
Quay Johnson's probably just a replacement for
fair.
Hennessy.
Yeah, because of the rating. Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah.
But Skylar would fit on the team, I believe.
Right.
That said, like Hennessy's the one with pedigree, and we're learning about Quentin Rice. Right?
Okay, yeah, because Skylar Bailiff 55 rating.
Well, but we knew, but
Base.
I've seen him play.
Okay, I haven't.
He's really good.
Yeah.
He's
So
really good.
Backwoods has Vultures 2.0, Ravens, and Buffalo Wild Wings as their last 3 games.
Is Buffalo Wild Wings a trap game for them also?
No.
So for them, it's not a trap
It's
game.
not because
Cool.
Eagle underrated them. That's my reasoning.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
That makes sense. What was the other games, Eagle?
Vultures 2.0, Ravens, BWW.
What about Vultures 2.0? The trap game?
I don't like talking about my own games. I think it's gonna be a tough game for us.
That'll be a tough game for
Yeah,
you.
yeah.
That'll be a tough game for
Yeah.
you. I can see you guys winning, though.
All right.
We're
It
on a
depends
two-
what
we're on-
version of Ballsy.
Yeah, we're on a 2-game win streak.
And then the last one here is Ravens. I'm going to
Yeah.
give them a good old 69. Nice.
Nice.
Over or underrated?
Why? It's purely for the joke reason. No.
Yeah.
you're
No,
under-
well,
you're-
I mean, no,
you're
I
Yeah.
actually don't think Ravens is all that
No,
good as
you're
compared to the other
underrated.
3.
No,
That's
you're
but
underrating
also just to because it's fun.
them. Yeah, but you're underrating them. No.
Okay,
What was the rating?
69.
69.
Nice.
No. Yeah.
No, they're.
We've you each had our turn at
Yeah.
like missing the conversation here. Yeah.
I'm doing a lot of things at the same time.
They have Ghosts, Backwoods Football Club, and Vultures 2.0. Do you guys see a win in those 3 games?
I-
maybe Backwoods Football Club, maybe Ghosts. Actually, I don't think Ghosts are a good matchup for Ravens.
Yeah.
I think
Agreed.
Ravens'
Yeah.
size is a problem for Ghosts and their experience.
I think that's true for
When Ravens are playing well,
they're so good.
they're so good.
They're
And then
so
when
good.
things start to fall apart, they fall apart quickly. Like we saw
And the
when they were in,
fans.
what was it, Division Division E?
E.
Division E like 5 seconds ago?
Yeah.
Like that team should not have ever lost in Division E. That team should not have lost in Tier 3
I
or
rewatched
Tier
that
2 or whatever
last
it was.
week. I rewatched it for some reason. I was just watching it, and my God, they had 9 drops in the first half.
But so like when things like that start to happen,
Yeah.
they fall
Crumbles.
apart.
Yeah.
They fall apart.
So-
I don't know why. But Joel Hill, by the way, huge game. He had a huge game this past week. Yeah. It's monstrous stats.
55-14 against Buffalo.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like I know it's Buffalo Wild Wings and they're struggling,
Yeah.
but they're still like look the ratings.
Whoa.
Yeah,
14 of 17, 292, 8 touchdowns.
you're just ripping it downfield.
Oh.
Ripping it
Vince
downfield.
Uphead, no. 189, 5 TDs. Division 5 article better have a standout there.
We'll see.
My God. Holy crap.
So let's go back to our
Yeah.
original question here. Of those 3 teams, it sounds like
The schedules make it difficult though because they play. There's a lot of interplay between.
I
each
know
other.
that's what I was gonna say. So, of the 3, which one do you think takes first place in West? Because that's gonna matter in terms of whether someone can catch Ghost.
based on how much they're underrated. Give me the Ravens.
Yeah.
And
yeah.
based on the fact that Ghosts were almost appropriately rated, I think they keep their position because I don't think they lose 3 games. And even if they lose 3 games, all the other teams would need to win 2 games to catch them.
So yeah, and then
That's too much. There's too many things that need to happen for
so
Vultures
just
2.0 to catch them.
yeah. Just who's most initial question is who's the number 1 seed?
Is that the question?
It is actually.
That's why I wanted to do all this work to figure it out.
based
Who's the
on
one seed?
based on what I just said, I think
Ravens.
it's Ravens.
Ravens. Yeah. I see.
Because
Ravens.
of just schedule and.
it's
But the teams are to me all fairly even.
Yeah.
ranked. Like
So Mo asked 2 questions. Who's the top at the Conference A at the end of the year? And 2, who's overrated? So we did the overrated part.
We did that
throughout-
as we were
throughout.
going.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Based on a random scale that he. And next time we'll use a random number generator, and that'll be the rating.
Yeah. Now we should have rated them. You alluded to it. You should have rated the team. Had Eagle rate the teams on how you like a steak level, like how you cook your steak.
But see, to me, the type of steak changes how I like it cooked.
That much? Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And it should be because
Yeah. You
certain
know more.
cuts have different types of marbling and fat that don't render well at lesser cooked. I like leaner steaks, so I like my steaks blue.
Talk meat to me.
Yeah, all day long, baby, all night long. Let's see, what can we cut? Perfect. They're 1 game back, but do you give Streets ahead any chance to sneak into the playoff with a death row of games that they have left? They got They play Wubba Lubba Dub, Ghosts, and the Reet.
So
You think they're beating Ghosts? You have it in your mind. They're
Yeah.
beating Ghosts.
yeah. I
And
think
if
so.
they were playing Buffalo Wild Wings, it would be a trap game also. I think Streets Ahead have a tough time against the Reet because the
Yeah.
Reet can just man them up and take everything away.
Yeah.
Because that's how you beat that system, by the way, is you just play man.
I tried playing man.
Well, you need the
90% of the
athletes to
game, and we still couldn't do anything.
But you need to win every match.
Yeah. And then the Reet do it better than
Absolutely.
yeah.
So this also assumes that Streets Ahead aren't going to do well in their schedule. But that being said, Mighty Six have actually, hold on, it's the wrong team. Mighty Six has there we go. Balls Deep, Dilfs, and Kings of the North on their schedule. Vultures 2.0 have
tough.
Backwoods Football Club, Kings of the North, and Ravens on their schedule.
That's
And
tough,
then
too.
Streets Ahead have Wubba, Lubba Dub Dubs, Ghost, and the Wreath on their schedule. So
I don't even
none
know
of
if
those
Streets.
teams are gimmies for
I don't-
their seeds, right?
I don't think Streets Ahead win the game.
What?
I don't think they win a game.
Well,
Okay,
Maybe
but
Wubba
then
I think-
do they do better than Mighty Six and Vultures?
right.
That's
Yeah,
the real question.
No,
They don't do better, but
I think each of those teams win at least 1 game.
Yeah.
And I think Streets Ahead
Yeah.
will struggle to even win a game. And even at that, with tiebreakers, I don't think they
Well,
win.
that's why you can technically do 3-way ties, maybe even a 4-way tie.
if
whatever
it's
happens
a
with
3 or 4-way tie,
or-
it's not bad because if Vultures just allow too many points 1 game, then it's close enough that
Well,
they can
it's a
get bounced.
3-way.
Imagine you
tie.
get bounced on points against.
I know.
That'd be
we
awful.
have right now one by 1 point.
Yeah.
But that's not the tiebreaker. It's a 3-way.
Yeah, I know. But I'm
Because
saying,
we've lost to the Mighty Six and Streets Ahead.
yeah, once
yet
it's 3 ways, there's no head to head.
I know. Yeah.
So
I know. I'm saying we're getting lucky.
yeah. In 5B, Team Sexy just jumped Save the Turtles for the final playoff spot. Can Turtles regain their playoff spot, or can the Warriors jump over both teams for that last spot? Eagle, can you bring up the Division 5B? Oh, perfect.
Yeah, so I saw Save the Turtles play last night. Red Dragons. You stayed after your game to watch a bit of that. At that game. That was a surprising loss to
and the way that loss went.
Yeah,
There was one beautiful ball thrown by Save the Turtles.
Yeah.
And that was the only one.
the only one.
There's the only one that was a beautiful throw by Save the Turtles.
No, they had a few nice
Well,
throws.
in the first half that I was there,
Yeah.
it was a rough. They got off to such a terrible start.
They really did.
You raised the scoreboard to show me at one point. Like,
Yeah, I do that.
what is this?
I do that as
Yeah.
a scoreboard, as a scorekeeper. I'm there. I might as well,
Yeah, of course.
let any audience that's sitting in the stands see the score. That's pretty much how the game went. Looking at the stats, is that two guys dominated offensively on the receiving stats. But it's a game that I think Red Dragons came in at 2-4 or 2-5. Like, not an FPF experienced team. Then great group of guys, by the way. Like, really, really chill. Really want to know how to
And
play,
they look like
get
they're
better.
legitimately having fun.
Yeah, I think didn't they look like a bunch of young Jeremy Whites?
Yeah.
I think they're from the same school as Jean-Eudes.
It's possible.
I
It's
think.
possible.
And it's a great group of guys that want to get better. They were asking the refs a lot of questions before their game. Hey, can I send a second rusher at any time in the field? No, you have to wait till your rusher crosses the line of scrimmage, et cetera, et cetera. So a great group of guys looking to get better. But Save the Turtles, with the experience and the talent that they have, I'm shocked that they lost this game. And actually, I adjusted the script because the script that said Save the Turtles are in a playoff position. But
Well, they were.
I edited the script to write that they were because of this loss. Huge loss. Huge.
They
loss.
came back though because it was a
They
ugly
did.
first half.
They did come back. They couldn't. They scored a late one. It was like
I didn't even notice the score because when I left, it was such a lopsided game
It
that
was,
I
yeah,
assumed it was a blowout. I will say this to Simon Imbach, the quarterback to Save the Turtles. Bro, stop moving so much.
oh yeah.
Like, he's throwing so
Well-
often off his back foot, and if you're rolling, plant and then throw.
Yeah, same thing with the Red Dragons QB.
That's true.
Honestly, I'm talking to Conrad. Man, these guys, after watching you play, just stand in the pocket.
Well, because I can't move.
Well, you did run for 3 yards. You
There
almost
we
got a
go.
first down.
Well, okay, but to your point, and again, I don't have the physical skill set a lot of these guys have.
But
But one thing I've done, I've actually started rolling more
Yeah.
in a designed roll
Yeah.
because I wanted not throw into the rusher basically because I was getting a lot of balls batted down because I'm also not very tall, and what I do though is I roll 3 steps, stop, plant my feet,
yes,
throw,
yeah,
and that's a world of difference from throwing on the run.
Yep.
So I think that
just tweaking.
and it was
the
like
game.
if you look at, for example, the previous game where I joked that the game before this one, it was combined 500 yards passing,
Yeah.
and combined age of quarterbacks was 100 years old.
Yeah.
Between, but both of us didn't move really. Like,
No.
we're not mobile
You
quarterbacks.
don't have to in FBF.
You don't. You have. The thing is, when you see the rusher coming, if you stare down the rusher,
No, you can't.
it
You
feels like you have no time.
can't. Yeah, you can't.
You have much more time than you think.
Than you think.
Because even when they're on you, they have to go down to get your flags. In which
And
case,
pull it off.
their hands are not in your face anymore.
Yes.
So there's a lot of throws I make where I'm literally waiting for them to
Waiting.
drop your hands and then throw it to my
Yeah.
snapper or throw it to a quick out or something. It's there. It's there. Just be more patient. So getting back to the question.
Yeah. So Team Sexy's now in the playoff spot. So can
Save the
they-
Turtles have Air Force One, not Mustangs. What could have been?
Okay, could have been is a tough, but
So is Air Force One.
But they should.
Air Force One's a tough team.
Yeah. Yeesh. That's tough. Oh man, they needed to win last night.
Yeah.
And they needed to win last night,
That was the one they had to get.
and they didn't. Who? Sexy and Warriors. So you look up Team Sexy.
I'm trying to.
I'll look up the Warriors.
So, but you could, in the meantime, talk about.
Yeah. It's just the Warriors I believe had a COVID outbreak, so they're a bit behind.
Yeah.
So
in
yeah,
their games.
Warriors dropped a game 24-0 to Air Force One last week. They have Save a Horse coming up, Trap Stars, Replacements, and then
tough.
Team Sexy to wrap up the season.
Team Sexy has
So-
69ers, Trailer Park Boys, Warriors. Team Sexy will make
Yeah,
the playoffs.
Team Sexy will make the playoffs. Yeah.
That's the answer.
So now it's between. Oh yeah.
That's the answer.
Well,
That's the answer. There's no other way.
well, that's the
They're already ahead, and they're probably winning out.
based on that question. But probably the right question is to add 2 Pfizers and half Johnsons in there.
And they're playing.
because they've only played they've already played the 8 games.
They have Trailer Park Boys and Trap Stars left.
That's not.
that's not easy.
They have Trap Stars, and
I see a 1-1 record there, so ending up 5-5, and yeah,
and
it's
Trailer
just
Park
same-
Boys are like they're
It's just
peckish,
no,
right? Like they're.
You're right.
I don't like Trailer Park Boys against Team Sexy because of just the skill set mismatch, but I like them here. I like them against two.
Wow.
two
So
Pfizers.
the Warriors, after finally moving up, because they were in Division 6 for a long time,
Yeah.
a really good team too.
It's
Winning.
There's like a learning curve
Yeah.
when you change division, and they're experiencing that. They're gonna.
They're
I
really
wouldn't
good,
be
though.
surprised if next season they're like a 1 seed.
They're really true, fair. They're really good,
Yeah.
and finally made the finals again, and finally won in the finals, and now they're not going to make the playoffs. I'm surprised by that.
I have an interesting hypothesis for you. You mentioned that Team Sexy is going to get in likely because they
Yeah.
have like the 69ers on their
Yeah,
schedule.
yeah.
If you look at the 69ers, they actually scored 18 points versus Trailer Park Boys, which in my opinion
Yeah.
are very comparable to Team Sexy, especially when you look at like points for and everything in
Yeah.
the standings.
Right.
So like
Team
if-
Sexy,
if-
they're a faster, sloppier version of Trailer Park Boys.
So
Yeah.
could you say that that might actually be a 69ers win, or at least that game's
No.
competitive?
Oh no. Oh no.
No.
Even though they kept it within 3 against Trailer Park Boys, and Trailer Park
It's-
Boys are in the
it's-
same
No.
offensive style, let's call it, as Sexy.
But just
Are they,
the overall yes, but the overwhelming athleticism is gonna be a problem for them.
I mean, I'm going based off of what I saw when you played 69ers Eagle. That didn't look good. 69ers.
That's week 2, though. Now we're
no,
in
it
week.
wasn't. That was week 2.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The
shit.
season's moving quick.
Oh,
Season's
crap.
moving quick. Yeah, definitely we'll have to look out for that.
Technically week 3, actually. My bad.
Okay.
Trap Stars
Still.
have the inside track for the 1 seed. How will 2, 3, 4, and 5 play out for what could have been Trailer Park Boys, AF1, and Pfizers? We kind of talked a little bit, but
Yeah.
let's talk about what could have been. Do they have the 2 seed locked up pretty much?
Well, we just need the schedule, so
Yeah.
I'll.
So what you can do is you talk about the team. Eagle brings up the schedule, and then we discuss the schedule.
Yeah, so right now there's
Production meeting on the show.
the Conference B North is kind of a mess, right? Because what could have been have 4 games left. Air Force One have 5 games left.
There's
Two
so much
Fighters have 2 games left. Team Sexy and Save the Turf have 3 each. They're all technically in reach because there's so much variability in the schedule.
Answer is shit show. And in fact, what could have been might even catch Trap Stars because of that.
Yeah.
Because they're literally like, is it half a game behind? Yeah, they're half a game behind Trap Stars.
Yeah.
So-
So what could have been have Binds, Lockdown, Save the
Bin.
Turftles, and Air Force
Bin.
One
Binds,
on
huh?
their schedule. Bin.
Yeah.
Air Force One have Save the Turftles, Trailer Park Boys, Save a Horse, Bin, and wrap up with what could have beens.
2 and 2.
Two Pfizers and Fots have Johnson. We talked about it earlier. They have Trailer Park Boys and Trap Stars. Team Sexy we talked about ad nauseum. And Save the Turftles.
I think Trap
Air
Stars
Force One,
likely
not
hold-
Mustangs. What could have been? So
Trap Stars likely hold the first seed. I think what
Yeah.
could have been keep. I
Keep
think they
pace,
keep
yeah.
confident. I think they keep the top of their conference. Maybe Air Force One if they go 3-1, but I think they're going 2 and 2.
Give me Air Force One to jump them.
All right, let's do it.
Yeah.
Let's do it. We're moving on. Okay. Quick question.
Yeah.
We'll do this really quickly because we do got to keep things moving.
Yeah.
If Lockdown go undefeated, is that a championship in itself? What does that mean?
So that
Are they just
I-
happy to be here?
yes. That's
Eagle, answer the question.
The
You're the only one who can actually answer the question. It's your
It's
team.
nice to have a winning record.
That is
but
true.
is the 10-0 undefeated season in itself a championship?
By definition, no.
Yes, I know by definition. But
As
for
somebody
yours,
who's been on a 10-0 team and lost first round, I promise you it is not.
but has Eagle? He hasn't yet.
Have you been
So
on a
is
10-0?
that
No, you
the
haven't.
I mean,
equivalent?
a 10-0 team, though.
On an so from your expectations going into the season, 10-0 wasn't on the radar, right?
Why not?
Was
It
it?
was for me. Because they're in 5B.
If any,
Because all of the other long-standing Division 5 quarterbacks moved up. So
yeah,
it's,
but I just wasn't. I hadn't seen them fully play, but I wasn't sure about the new talent.
it's
they
a
brought
better
on.
it's a better lockdown roster.
It is.
They probably have in 5B. They have probably one of the better quarterbacks.
Yeah, I'm not talking about quarterback play. I'm
Yeah,
just talking about
the defensive
team.
system is competent, which is not true of all the teams in 5B.
Yeah,
Some teams in 5B are worse than the teams in Division 6.
I just look. It's 5B, right?
Yeah.
They didn't play Warriors. They didn't play Air Force One. What could have been? Had they been scheduled those games, they're not going undefeated.
But fair.
But
But I don't think going into the season it was like, oh, lockdown's terrible. There's no way they'll go undefeated. I probably would have gone 7-3, 8-2.
Yeah, but
So it's not shocking to me they are on track to be undefeated.
okay. So for you, it's not even based on expectations, it's not a championship in itself to go 10-0 for lockdown specifically.
For me, it's more that I know the feeling of going 10-0 and losing the first round.
Yeah,
It's the worst thing. It's
Yeah.
the worst playoff experience I've had in FPF.
yeah.
It's the worst one.
so lockdown on their schedule, they have left Red Dragon, what could have been, and not
Oh, so
Mustangs.
you are playing what could
9-1.
have been.
9-1.
Yeah,
9-1. What could have been is a terrible matchup for you.
yeah.
9-1.
It's
Which is whatever. You're looking like I insulted you. Shut up.
is what could have been.
You're just not used to me saying good things about you.
Like a better version of Save a Horse.
Yeah.
That's good.
Save a Horse who Eagle thought was going to
Div
ruin
3.
Div 3.
Oh, I see what he did there. He
Yeah.
set the expectations so high so that when lockdown beat Save a Horse, it looked all that more impressive.
Also, it's the thing with the Vultures is because he lost them last season, so he built them up.
Vultures.
Because the Vultures 2.0, when you're
Yeah.
we were talking about Buffalo Wild Wings being a good team.
right.
That's what that is.
Yes.
He built up a team he lost against.
Yeah.
Co-ed 1. Out of the 5 teams in Co-ed 1, Easy Fun are the only team with a negative plus-minus, yet they have the number 2 seed. What does that tell us about Easy Fun? To me, the tie also changes it because we wouldn't even really be thinking about this kind of question if they're 4-3 because they'd ostensibly be a 500 team, right? So the tie kind of changes the perception because you see 4-2. And so
yeah.
it's...
I believe the tie came this week against 2.5 Kittens.
There you go.
Yeah, 37-37.
So what does it mean to you?
It means they're not a true number 2 seed. That Sriracha, who actually incidentally beat them, I think pretty handedly. Also this week they played 2 games, 41-20. That's probably your number. I mean, is Sriracha and Party Mix not just ostensibly better than Easy Fun, just as a co-ed team?
Yeah, Party Mix for sure.
But
Sriracha's close.
We say Party Mix for sure,
Party Mix for
and I believe it. But Easy, they beat them last week or 2 weeks ago.
Yeah, I get it.
By 1 point.
By 1 point.
By 1 point.
Winning close games is not a skill; it's luck.
Here's the tinfoil hat theory. They played at 7, finished at 8. They had 2 hours off when they got back. They were a little bit off their game.
The first game was at 7.
Yeah, and then their next game it's at 10.
It finished at 8.
Oh, I see what you're saying.
finished at
I
8.
thought you were talking about that Party Mix had played
No.
that week at
No,
7.
no,
And
no.
okay, yeah, potentially.
That they got really cold
yeah.
in the dome or in the building.
And the way they play, that could affect them for sure. To me, it's just that simply that they're winning close games, which is not predictable, and when they lose, they tend to lose bigger. Although that's not entirely true.
Yeah, no, it's
I don't know. How do they
They're-
have a negative plus minus? Is it just
Yeah.
because it's Sriracha hot sauce and
I-
Power Rangers week 1?
yeah.
That's just
Yeah,
so to me it means this. They're actually better than the record says, but also they have two games that are padding the plus minus in a negative direction. That's all that is.
But
to me, they're the top half of the division. I agree. To me, Power Rangers and Party Mix are the best teams in the division. And then there's not a lot separating Sriracha and Easy Fun. I'm not going to overreact to one game.
Sure. Okay. But it's a pretty handed, like they handed the loss to them.
But that's a game.
Yeah,
it's a game in weird
like
circumstances where you're waiting 2 hours, and also on top of that, you could just have a bad game.
Yeah,
you know what I mean.
Yeah.
I don't know. Jean-Félix Marquis is a fun quarterback. He's a guy who's going to take shots, and he's going to take chances. And in games where he doesn't pay for those for taking chances,
it looks good.
He puts up a lot of points.
Yeah.
And Candice Marie has really come, like she's becoming a force in co-ed. We're starting to see her emerge.
She had four receptions on 5 targets, 30 yards,
and she scored a touchdown as well.
Yeah.
Easy Fun have struggled to include their female athletes on offense.
I thought they did okay at first.
They were doing better this season, but historically, I'm saying that's always been kind of the thing, which is getting better.
Yeah. Well, at least last game, only 4 targets for the girls and two receptions. And against Sriracha.
But even the way they're used, it's never in the intermediate. It's always short stuff. It's always Jeremy White buying time and dumping it off to a woman that got forgotten as everyone's just watching Jeremy White run around. Like, you can call a concept where they're at second level. Like, they're good athletes. Get them the ball.
Yeah.
Get them the ball with the ability to do some damage, and you'll see the offense be more explosive. I hope that answers your question, Mo.
Yeah. Oh, that was my question.
I hope that answers your question, Iggy.
Yeah, it does. Yeah.
It was a roundabout way to get there.
Yeah.
Is Jasmine Farmer with her 11 TDs, 29 receptions, 261 yards, and 4 conversions, which I love that we can track conversions.
Yeah, I love it. Yeah.
The front runner for Offensive Player of the Year in co-ed won.
I mean, I wrote the question, so I have maybe a biased opinion there. What do you think?
I think I thought she was doing pretty well on defense too, and she no
2 tackles or
okay.
6 tackles.
My mistake.
2 PDs.
My mistake. I might be confused.
Yeah, I was gonna say for 2
I thought it might
two-way
be
player
caliber for 2.
I looked it up. That's why I specifically
because
wrote
she's a really good
offensive.
defender too.
Yeah.
So maybe the ball's just not going there.
Yeah.
I mean, going back to our previous conversation for like Nick Gomes and everything, she has an 88% catch rate with the most touchdowns.
You see?
And one of the most yards.
That's just
so
now
she gets every
supporting. Now it's a supporting argument. So you know what? Going back to that question, it's a supporting argument.
So let's put it this way: I won't put a bad catch ratio. I won't hold it strongly against them, but I will look at someone who has a strong catch ratio and decent yardage to be like, okay, this person's they're catching their targets and they're doing damage with the targets, right? So like it clearly it's high percentage stuff because she's averaging 9 yards a catch. So like she's feeling sort of that Wes Welkery, Jarvis Landry type role, but also scoring.
And it's not just like kind of what you alluded to with Jeremy White, just getting the ball a little deeper.
She can
make
primary
moves.
on a lot of concepts.
And she can make moves.
Yeah, she's great in space.
yards after the catch.
She's great in space. She's one of the best female players in FPL.
And that's like, does that not tell you, like, again, going back a bit to the women's division, this is co-ed 1 we're talking about. We're not talking about, co-ed 2, a bit lower. This is co-ed 1.
Yeah.
The big boys come to play here too.
And the big girls.
And the big girls. And she's on tap for me for Offensive Player of the Year there.
Absolutely.
And the 4 extra points, that's
and
second,
like
that's second best.
If she beats, like, right now, let's say she beats Matthew Rupsick out, I know a quarterback of the year also tends to go to quarterbacks, to be fair. But let's say, like, if we're just looking at the receivers, Matthew Rupsick's right behind her, and Matthew Rupsick is a serious threat. So, like, that would be huge. That'd be huge for her.
Yep.
The Battle of Kiss My End Zone and Yin and Yang was renewed this past week. Yin and Yang won 2019. Big win. Congrats.
Yeah. It was a good one.
It was a comeback victory, and Kiss My End Zone was also short. You didn't have your quarterback this week, right?
No, that's next week.
That's next week.
We did have David there.
Okay, so you had your quarterback, but you did you have Alexi?
We had a yeah. We
Okay.
had the
Full team.
We had a full
So
lineup.
I'm
Yeah,
just
yeah,
thinking
yeah.
about your future matchup. I'm living in a different timeline.
Yeah, we had a
So
full
now
lineup.
not only are we multiple realities, but now we're also traveling through time. Incredible thoughts.
I'm trying to set this up here so we can see it.
We're seeing.
I'm
it.
really glad you put it
Yeah,
sideways.
yeah,
It's,
yeah.
I literally.
oh, it's
given.
actually
It's given that way.
Oh, you want
to
to
be
watch?
fair.
Watch this. Watch this. You ready?
Oh, nice.
Well
There you
done.
go. You see, if I was sitting where Eagle's sitting, I wouldn't have been able to
we
do
would
that.
have had no sound.
Yeah.
So, do you want to give context in terms of where we're at for this?
Yeah,
or?
sure. So this is the final play of the game. 4 plays previous to this. So we started with the ball on our own 10. Last 5 plays of the game. This is the final play of the game. And for the viewers out there, yin and yang included, take a look at the quarterback throwing even after he's released the football. So it's Ryan Dobbs-Garnett. So an incomplete pass, yin and yang wins the game. Look, I'm not here to just put it on display and like, oh my God, I'm so upset that they didn't call this. Look, calls don't go your way. Like, it happens. But is this not contacting the passer? Like,
That's a penalty.
like it's just it's
clear as day penalty to me. Like
yeah.
he's making. So here's the thing that rushers say all the time. I was trying to grab the belt. It doesn't matter.
Or
the
in-
rules in FPF
Yeah.
state you need to be in control of your body.
Yeah. Or in this case, or in Ryan's case, I tripped. Is
Yeah.
what he
You
said.
need to be in control of your body.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter. So like if you knock down a receiver
Yeah.
while they're running a route, even if you fell, it's
Yeah.
still pass interference.
And yeah. And let me preface or post
Preface.
Yo, preface it.
let me post-face this
Postface, okay.
by saying
Time travel. I
I'm
like
not
it.
trying to diminish anything yin
I
and
believe
yang
it's
did.
sufface, by the way.
Thanks.
It's not.
I'm not trying to diminish anything. Yeah. I'm not trying to listen. I'm trying to make a point here.
You'll never get there.
I'm not trying to diminish what yin and yang or Y and Y did here. They were down 8 points or 7 points, sorry. And then they, to full credit to them, they drove the field, scored, went for 2 points instead of going for the tie, and got the 2-point conversion.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's just in a black and white scenario, is it contacting the passer?
Absolutely.
Yes.
That's a penalty.
Was it not seen by the ref? Yes. Does that happen? Yeah, it happens. The
Okay,
ref-
look, so like
ref doesn't
here's the
see
thing.
it.
Tell us how you really feel.
That's how I feel.
I have a bias because I used to be on Kiss Man Zone. You have a bias because you're on Kiss Man Zone.
Yeah.
Eagle is that a penalty? Yes or no?
yeah,
That way.
100%.
Impartial observer.
Yeah.
And it doesn't matter what the reason is.
Yeah.
It's a penalty.
Yeah.
I'm not saying he did it on purpose. It just is what it is. If I thought he did it on purpose, I would have said he's a piece of human garbage. But I don't think so.
Well, if he did it on
No,
purpose,
no.
he also gets expelled for 10 plays because
Yeah.
that would be considered unnecessary roughness.
Yeah.
Team
Instead of
Commando
con-
got their first win of the season in their attempt to get the best seeding position as possible in the postseason. Can they upset any of the top 3 teams in Fit Squad, Khmeis, and Yin and Yang?
So nice to see that they got their
Yeah.
first one.
I've actually caught them a couple times, and it's a giant roster.
Yeah,
Um,
it's a big.
They don't
big
always have the
roster.
best players on the field, which is fine. Like some teams just like to get a lot of people involved,
Yeah.
but there are consequences to building a team that way. Unless like you have people who are very good at specific roles. So it's cool they got their first win. To me, they aren't the same caliber as Fit Squad, Kisman Zone, Yin and Yang.
Yeah.
Anyway, that's my thoughts.
Yeah. So
Tell me why I'm wrong.
no, it's, unfortunately for them,
Yeah.
you're not wrong. I was actually just trying to think because 3 Hunas have a really large team too, but they kind of have like an offensive set and a defensive set.
But
of
see, like
players.
as I was saying that,
Yeah.
I looked at 300 and I was like, I've
Yeah.
seen them play,
Yeah.
and they have players in defined roles,
specific. Yes. Yeah.
and they're good at their roles.
Yeah,
You
yeah,
know,
yeah.
so,
Yeah. One of the guys on 300 has covered me on man for like 80% of the
Was
game.
it
And I'm-
Casilozo?
no.
Okay, because he's a former Div 1
Yeah, yeah, yeah. No. Even that would probably be.
No, you
even-
just sit down. Don't run routes.
Yeah.
Just sit down.
No, it was another one of their guys, and I'm like, dude, you're covering me on man like no one else has like in a while. Like this is good man coverage.
Yeah.
But the game against Lasek. Hey, look, Lasek. They I believe they came back in the game because they were down in the first half. It's nice for them too that they're competitive in the game.
Yeah.
That a 20. You wouldn't have seen this in a couple seasons back from Lasek. 28-25.
Yeah.
Score. This would have been.
And like Rafael Beauchamp, if you remove the interceptions, that's a good game.
Yeah.
If he goes 4 touchdowns and 1 interception, they probably win.
For 200 yards. Yeah.
200 yards, good completion percentage.
Yeah.
4 touchdowns is a great outing. I'm sure he added some on the ground as well. Targeted value for FPA 8 times. Yeah.
Yeah, it's
Not just going to Allison Frostino.
Exactly. That's what.
Because that's what the issue was with Lasek.
Yeah.
I was going to say his 72% completion rate bumps up to an 81 if you count the INTs. It's pretty good.
He throws a very catchable ball. I'm guilty of that too. So honestly, I wish I would have seen this game because it's finally seeing both these teams at like a level that can compete.
Yeah.
I've been saying I want to get to a point where there's 3 tiers of co-ed.
Yeah.
Because there is really a middle tier in co-ed.
Yeah.
There's the bottom end of tier 1 and the
Yeah.
top end of tier 2 to me is a middle tier.
Yeah.
I'd like to see that happen. So hopefully we get more teams and we're getting there. We're getting there soon.
Yeah.
We'll go to 35 plus.
No, we're going to do Div 6 first.
Okay.
Because
Because
here's an interesting, it's because we're waiting on feedback from, there's actually games
So, okay,
happening as
so-
we're recording.
Yeah. Let's.
the bane of my existence was whenever it was ago when we're covering 35 plus and all the games were Thursday night.
Winter 2020.
It was our job to cover. Like we were told, you have to cover 35 plus. And I was like, how can we cover a division where
Games
the
that are
game
in flight as we're recording.
Yeah, and so like if we talk about the previous week, it's irrelevant.
Yeah.
Nobody wants to hear it. We're a week late.
And if we're talking about this week, well, the week's
We're
already
making
done
it
by
up.
the time you listen to it.
So we just made it up every week, and we're gonna do that tonight because most of 35 plus is happening tonight.
But why? We don't usually play on
Yeah,
Thursdays.
There was some rescheduling that had to
Right,
happen.
yeah.
Unfortunately, I lost a player who had to sub who had to play last night because there was conflicts because it was unforeseen. It wasn't the pre-scheduled nights.
So we are waiting on our scorekeeper from tonight at the Loyola Field. Maya Hankey is going to be joining us to give us some updates on those games. If everything goes according to plan, we might actually have the box scores up too, so we can report live on the results of that. But in the interim, we're going to talk Div 6.
So
for the time being.
I'll ask you questions about Div 6. Since I write the article and everyone hears my analysis all the time on Div 6 anyway. If there are things you need me to fill in on, if you things you don't know well, you can always come back to me. But I'll sort of be more the interviewer for this division.
So, quick update for Division 6, because there are some question marks in terms of playoff format, of which,
yes.
to give everyone context in terms of why we do this.
It's one of the things we have a meeting about after this show.
Well, yes and no.
Iggy.
So, just to give everyone the idea in terms of what we'd like to do, there's obviously a division in Div 6 regarding the strongest teams and the weakest teams. And we've talked about this in past weeks.
Yeah, when teams, and for new teams who may not have listened to the podcast or teams that this is their first season, in Division 6, we get teams that are really not that good, as well as teams that are really above the talent level of Division 6. And sometimes they do it on purpose, knowing that they're going to come in and try their hand at an easy championship. Sometimes we get teams that just don't know the skill level. They don't even know their own skill level.
Yeah.
And the big difference in Division 6 compared to, let's say, Division 5 is quarterback play. So, like, you have really good athletes, sometimes college and university level athletes playing in Division 6. It's just that they're not usually the quarterback. So they feast on sort of these guys who are learning the position, right? I've had teams tell me that they're going to register for 5B next season because
like Brewers,
it's
right?
more predictable.
Right.
Yeah, Brewers are one of the ones that told me that.
Yeah.
And it's just because, like, well, at least you're not going to go up against these kids who all play C-Shep football and will rip your face open by 30 points.
Yeah.
You know, you just don't have the athleticism to keep up.
So, and all that information, we don't know going into the season.
So we don't split it for that reason, but we will split it for playoffs. And it's going to be based on some factors.
So apparently, the person who is not here tonight, Mo Khan, has been working on a playoff structure. That
his famous March Madness style that he wants to
He never flushes it out, though.
So here's what he told me. He goes, it's probably too late for
Can
the
we
season,
do this
but
next
I've
week?
worked on a new crossover playoff format idea.
Eagle, we're at 2 hours and 16 minutes. Can we do this next week with Mo?
No. I just want to mention the fact that if you look at, because if we look at previous seasons and how we've split
But
teams,
why does it have to be this week?
I'm saying if you're
gonna be
if
different.
you're a Division 6 team and you're trying to figure out what we're going to do, joke's on you. We
There.
don't know what
We
we're
don't
going to
even
do.
know. We don't even know.
There you go. That's all. That's
You
it.
can't game a system that doesn't exist.
Yeah. So let's talk about most model next week.
There was a
I was just
tease.
worried. I was like, "This
That
is
was
a
a tease.
19-minute conversation."
No, it's a tease for next week to
So
tune in.
Tune in next week.
Yeah, there you
Same calling the Audible channel.
Different
same
people.
calling the Audible time.
No Iggy.
Actually, maybe Iggy. I'll have to talk to you after.
Oh, crap.
I might be out next week. Battle of the Div 6 contenders. Beer Knights came away with 36-31 win over the Stormers. It appears as though Beer Knights have replaced Max Ledoux with Miles Kyler. So can either of these teams be in the finals Div 6 come May 29th?
That's my question, actually. So I wrote the Division 6.
Yeah, I'm setting this up for you to answer the question.
for myself.
But again, I can easily
yeah.
come in with some answers. So Stormers play really simple high percentage offense.
Yep.
They just complete hooks and slants and hooks and slants and hooks and slants.
Yeah, it's the Beer Belly Brigade Light
Yeah.
version. Yeah.
But do you know what?
It works.
It works in Division 1 also.
Yeah.
So
Yep.
if the quarterback makes good decisions, which I like
is
Sean
good.
Antel, who to me is the front runner for quarterback of
Yep.
the year.
Yep.
If they can do that, then yeah. Beer Knights here, to me, this has a feeling of whoever ended with the ball. Right? Like,
The game, you mean? Yeah.
yeah.
It's just to me, it's the adding of Miles Kyler here. Kyler,
I call him Kyler.
Yeah. Because just before you said
You
Keller.
Oh,
Like,
I'm tired. I've been telling you I'm
Okay,
tired.
All right.
so
Miles
like,
Kyler's great.
That's what he's playing Division 2 this season with
but
Outlaws.
you lose the rushing ability
Yeah,
of
yeah, yeah.
Max Ledoux. So
Yes,
you,
fair.
there is
Yeah,
because Max
there's a
Ledoux with Division
compensation.
6 is a dominant rusher.
Yeah. There's a compensation there or lack thereof. But
Do we know it's a full-time replacement?
I don't.
Okay.
But that's why I said it
Couldn't
appears
have
to
called
be.
your boys on beer nights since you used to play on the team?
Yeah, but it was the script that I updated
20 minutes ago?
Yeah. So yeah, Kyler and Pietrobon as a wide receiver, 1A, 1B. Cuts. Yeah, and like especially the route running on deep routes,
Mhm.
post corners, and posts. Good luck catching up.
So if you throw it on the cut, he's open basically.
On the cut or just over with speed.
Yeah.
Just over defenders.
You know what I'm saying? If the quarterback lets the ball leave their hand
Yeah.
when he's cutting, he's usually open.
Yeah.
That's a nice luxury to have.
Oh, it's yeah, it is. Yeah.
So can you see either of these teams be in the final Div 6? For me, yes, because of the quarterback play of both these teams. I know a lot of the analysis comes down to quarterback play, but it does.
Yeah,
Like
it's just
it simply does. And to me, Frankie sometimes can get a little. Frankie Scalzo can be a little careless with the ball. He's largely avoided that this season. But to me,
yeah.
Alex Richard-Nantel has showed me a consistency throwing the ball. I give a slight edge at quarterback play to Stormers. I give a slight edge in receiving to Beer Knights.
I agree with the receiver edge. I disagree with the quarterback edge. A slight edge for Scalzo.
I think Scalzo's got more of a wide-ranging offense. Like he can do more things.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
I think Alex Richard-Nantel knows what he has and maximizes it
Right.
better.
Right. Yes.
Here's the twist to this conversation. Beer Knights and Stormers are in the same conference.
Yeah.
So the only
That's
way to
why.
make
Only
it
one
to
of
the
them.
finals is a particular playoff structure.
That's true. They might even face each other in the finals,
Right,
or they
right,
might
right,
not.
Right,
We'll
right,
find
right,
out.
right. Yeah.
Stay tuned. Maccabees put up a great fight against the 1 seed and Penetrators. Penetrators, who I've talked about them a bit more in my article, but we haven't talked about them a ton on the show. They won 12
12 to 8.
12 to 8. Penetrators are available. Are they available 1 seed? Do we look at their schedule and say that they've come away with wins and tight matchups, or do we say that they play down to the competition? Yes,
Because
Maccabees are the opposite. They play up to the competition.
yes.
They
I can
seem to
agree
give
with
everyone a tough out.
Yep.
Penetrators have shown, the Spanish Inquisition are a good team, so they lost that game. But when they play weak competition, Flamingos, V-Town, Penetrators,
I don't get it.
it was Henry Pisa gang. Penetrators don't even let those teams into the game.
They don't let them in.
Yeah,
but
like
they don't. But they don't
they
put
just
pedal to the metal. They don't.
But no, they just destroy these teams, right? So like to me, they don't really play down to competition unless it's a middle tier team. Like a team like Maccabees will push them, and they can lose that. I think they're very matchup dependent come playoff time. They beat up on weak teams. They have a hard time like they couldn't get past Spanish Inquisition.
It was a close game.
Close game, but like they just missing that extra gear, I think. And they lost week 1 to Demons, which Demons have fallen off since.
Yeah, it's just as a 1 seed, if there's that
If
many,
they're a 1 seed.
Yeah. Well, they are right now. Let's just go based off of where they are right now. They're in the 1 seed. To have that many question marks as a 1, are you a true 1 seed? And I don't think they are. Although very athletic, and they have the mind and the tutelage of Rocco Cristiano on the team.
Yeah.
I don't
And speed of Rocco Cristiano.
Come on,
Nasty.
Division 6. He's killing it out there with Bruins in Division 4.
Yeah.
How many games has he played though? He's played 5, so he is.
Yeah.
So he's played. Yeah.
One thing to keep in mind, even though they're likely going to be the 1 seed coming from B North, ultimately when you start looking at the rest of the teams in Conference B, West Island Boys have 1 game in hand. They're at 10 points. Glory Boys have 1 game in hand. They're at 12 points. Tropic Thunder have 1 game in hand. They're at 10 points. So
it's a good thing they got by Maccabees because that would have been dreadful.
Yeah.
That would have knocked them off the 1 seed for the season.
Yeah.
So
There's too many teams jockeying for that top position.
There's a very high likelihood here that Penetrators might actually end up being the 4 seed after all this is said and done.
Yeah.
They have Lionhearts and Tout Garni left on their schedule, which aren't gimmies either for that matter. Especially if they're playing down to their competition.
Yeah.
And I don't necessarily mean Lionhearts and Tout Garni are bad teams. But their records don't indicate it, obviously.
Right. They're games that you look at the Penetrators, the way they've played. You'd think they would win those games, but again, those question marks surrounding the team as a 1 seed. Let's see how they do. Like, you should beat these teams, beat them and prove it, and stay at top of the standings.
Yeah. All they have to do basically is try to stay in line with West Island Boys, with Glory Boys. Arguably, even Primetime Killer Rays are in the race for that 1 spot in South. Tropic Thunder, obviously. Cavalier de Rohan could potentially make a push. So we know Penetrators are going to hold North. It's just the other ones, there's still a lot up in the air. And so it's really hard to figure out. But with the games at hand and the schedules for those other things, there's a likelihood they're not going to be able to hold one.
Yeah. There's a lot of competition there. Like I said, they got that win, which is good. Their defense has been pretty nasty. Like, they played a lot of weaker teams, but they haven't even allowed 100 points in 8 games.
Ooh, yeah,
that's pretty nasty.
Yeah.
The Off Island Boys have now won 3 of their last 4.
Your favorite, the Off Island Boys.
I just why would you be proud of not being from Montreal? It doesn't even make sense. It's the dumbest thing I've ever heard. Here's the greatest city in Canada, and you're proud of being from another city. It's stupid.
That, you know what? The way you're so convincing with your words.
Because words don't mean anything.
Said that way, I agree with you.
There
now.
you go.
I was gonna be like, well, they're proud where they're from. Aren't you proud where you're from?
Yeah, because I'm from a real city. I'm sorry. Like, if you're from New Jersey, you can't be proud of being from New Jersey when New York's right there. You got to be sad every day. Live a sad existence. I'm sorry.
But read the script like Ron Burgundy, please.
All right. They have now won 3 of the last 4. They have raw talent that appears to be refining on I'm tired, man. On the fly. Will they be a dark horse team come playoff time? I think they're fairly matchup dependent, is how I see them.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Well, I think you wrote it in your article that when Caleb Rogers, I think.
So that's the other thing.
When he plays.
Because he's a monster.
He's the epitome of what I wrote there, that they have this raw talent, but it's just missing a little bit more of just edge work and refinement. But yeah, if that day comes, and it comes soon, because they're doing it on the fly, as I suggested, they're gonna be a dark horse team, like in the playoffs. Like,
I can't find it, but Caleb Rogers is playing, I believe, CJEP ball.
Yeah, I think a lot of the guys on the team are. Yeah,
but he's quarterback in CJEP ball. So for Division 6, that's That's a lot.
Yeah.
Like again, that's the thing Brewers are complaining about.
Yeah. Yes.
So guys, correct me if I'm wrong. I don't know a ton about your team, so jokes aside about the Off Island boys. Like if you do have information about the team, I'd like to learn. So just send it to us.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Like, how do you commute to your games?
Do you take a helicopter? Because the city has some pretty trash traffic.
How can people reach you?
So you can reach me, as you see here, on Instagram at P Delarocca. I am P's Delariz on Instagram. You can post on the flag wall. You can post on this YouTube video. We see everything. Whatever I miss, Eagle makes sure to send to me. So, because I do miss most of it. So
You can also be followed on Twitter at P's
HSS. HSS, of course, is for Hot Sauce Sports. You've been listening to Hot Sauce Sports.
Magic.
With the Wild Hogs winning their first game of the season against Henri Pissagang, can they, Team Poland, or free agent squad find a way to make the late playoff push? Wild Hogs have made a move to Jason Armenti, a quarterback, which I mentioned in the midseason breakdown as well.
Yeah.
Free agent squad is a failed experiment.
Yeah.
It sucks. I hope they stay together. I hope the ones who enjoy playing together can build a team for next season. The ones who have not had a good time out, hopefully. And there's guys with 0 games played, so they paid and they didn't play games. I don't understand. What's the point?
That's not a good look. Yeah. It's kind of funny, that we had one amazing free agent squad last season at 10-0.
It's gonna happen.
And now we're having the
it's gonna happen.
It's just, isn't it usually somewhere in the middle? Isn't that what people say? It's not one extreme or the other. It's usually somewhere in the
I
between.
have a feeling when it comes to this, it's always going to be one of the.
We got a 10-0 team last Fall Cup, and now we have an potentially 0-10 team.
I don't think I'm sorry, free agent squad. It's not. Your lack of ability, it's your lack of knowledge. You just don't know what you're doing, and that's okay. It's time to learn.
Yeah.
I have a part of my article dedicated every week to
playbooks
to plays that can help, and I'm not sort of just stroking my own ego. I don't have physical abilities, so the thing that I do well is
play calling,
play design.
Yeah. And just and you know what? It's not even just good for Division 6. I take a look at your articles and I'm like, you know what? If ever I quarterback again,
if ever I go through that misery again,
may or may not be this coming week.
This week in my article, I'm going to be introducing a play called Break X. It's the play that I called on the last play of the game to win the game.
Okay.
It has worked up to Division B when I was a snapper. I've used it literally to win a game in Division 4 this week. I use it actually. It was the my winning throw to win over Ravens in the Fall Cup.
Okay.
For the championship game.
Okay.
So it's a brutal Eagle. You know this play well. It's a brutal play to defend in the red zone because I have 3 options in the back of the end zone in 3 different spots and 2 options in the front of the end zone, and 2 of those options are moving. So if it's man. There we go. That's the play. You'll see it in my article as well.
You had a psyched sub there.
Sorry?
No, you had a psyched up sub.
Psyched up. Yeah. He was super happy. He was super happy.
Yeah. That was what great. Did Chris Rive film that piece?
No, that was Iggy Magnets filming that play. So basically you have 2 guys crossing front and back of the end zone. You have 3 static receivers. It's really difficult to defend.
Yeah.
It just takes the quarterback. It's the hardest of the ones I'm putting in my articles. It's the hardest to read, but once you know how to read it, it's indefensible. Indefensible.
So you can also give this iteration of Free Agent Squad a little bit of a break because the last iteration had Emil Scaff, who's currently playing upper divisions and kind of carried that team, if you want to call it that, versus obviously the quarterbacking for a team of free agents. If you've never played quarterback, that's tough to throw yourself into. Not only are you learning the game, you're also learning the chemistry with people you've only met through this team. So
I like Jason Armenti being added as quarterback to Wild Hogs just because it gives them knowledge, FPF knowledge, defense and offense. I don't think he's a refined quarterback by any stretch. I don't think he would say that either, but he's a knowledgeable flag football player.
Maybe a bit more refined than you think.
I've seen him throw.
Yeah. And he's had more reps in MFL.
Yeah.
And this team is actually largely an MFL.
Which is great. Because like MFL, the quality of game is improving, and I'd say MFL ranges between Div 6 and Div 4, right?
Yeah.
At the top end. And so, like, to me, what I mean by not refined is he's not a natural quarterback. He's not a guy
Right. Yeah,
who's
yeah.
played quarterback like same
A
way
bit like me.
you and I
Yeah,
like
yeah,
we're
yeah.
guys who are flag quarterbacks who learn through flag.
Yeah.
I wasn't trying to throw shade. He's an obvious upgrade,
Yeah.
and he'll
No,
help
but
them on
just-
both sides of the ball.
Just a little more than what you might think is what I was.
Yeah, no,
suggesting.
but I've seen him play. I know Jason. I've known him for a while.
Yeah.
And I
So-
think defensively is where he really helps them because he's played defense in FPF for a long time
Yeah.
in higher divisions.
Yeah.
So-
So they have Maccabees, Team Poland, and sorry, I'm looking at the Team Poland schedule. Team Poland has Maccabees.
Team Poland play themselves, huh?
Yeah. So Team Poland has Maccabees, Wild Hogs. So Wild Hogs and Team Poland.
That'll be the deciding game for those two.
Yeah, exactly. And then Team Poland last game of the season, Toon Squad. But so essentially, we're saying that Wild Hogs will likely move up, and they'll.
I think now that they have competent quarterback play, they're probably the best situated team.
so
Thomas Snodge is not played the way he expected to play. This
yeah,
season.
he's more of a snapper.
Yeah.
He
But you've said that, but
natural
I think
ability.
and snapper to quarterback is a pretty natural transition because you're starting in the middle of the field and
that's as far as the comparison.
I just that's where I learned to play quarterback was a snapper because essentially you have to understand the spacing between you. It's the only receiver position where you need to understand the spacing between you and other receivers. It's the only position where you absolutely need to know
Fair.
all of the routes in
Okay.
the offense
Yeah.
because otherwise you're running into guys.
Yeah.
It's the only position where you need to be told left or right.
Yes.
Well, that
Yeah,
too.
Yeah.
And that's how you understand sort
Do
of
a
floods.
5
floods and
yard out.
counterfloods.
Do a 5 yard out. Yeah, but left or right.
Well, with my snapper, I don't have to say it because he knows the plays.
Yeah.
He knows.
Yeah.
Okay, this play is a flood.
Yeah.
This play I'm counter flood, and and then so on.
Yeah. But the team they're trying to usurp, beat out Lionhearts, have penetrators. The thing is, they have flag football team.
Yeah.
Oh no, wait, flag football.
flag football
is
team's good.
the good one. Yeah,
It's
sorry.
just terribly named.
It's just,
Guys, choose a name.
the Among Us team. They had the Among Us shirts.
Just go call yourself Among
Say
Us.
Among Us. And then Dusters 2.0 for Lionheart. So that's tough. So they're currently.
I
in
think
the
Wild
last-
Hogs jump it. Wild Hogs jump it.
Yeah.
Tough season for Lionheart. I had high hopes for them.
Yep.
They're just not scoring.
All right. Are we ready for 35?
Let's make 35 plus real
plus?
quick, guys. I'm tired.
Yeah.
And it's running long.
Yeah, so we're gonna get
And we have
our
160 picks to make.
correspondent on the phone here. So let's just see if we can get
Forgot
them.
about the picks.
I forgot about the B divisions again.
No, you didn't.
No, I did. 5B. I forgot about 5B. And then I was like,
Hello?
Hey Maya, this is Eagle Peas and Iggy from FPF calling the Audible. How you doing?
Hello, I'm doing good.
All right, we're semi live on air. We're recording this, but we're going. So I'll hand you off to Peas, and he'll ask you about the games from tonight.
how's it going, Maya?
Oh.
You've score kept a couple of my games, so it's a pleasure to talk to you. I just wanted to know what's going on 35 plus. What's happening in the games? Give us an update because it's impossible for us to talk about things that we can't see.
How's Loyola?
This is my first. This is my first time scorekeeping 35 plus.
Yeah.
The game was pretty good. It got a little intense at some points. There was a couple of penalties, I believe, that some weren't called and some were called,
Ooh.
and both ends of the team got a bit upset over that.
Yeah.
So
okay.
yeah, but overall they were good games. Some interceptions on the second game I scorekept. Yeah.
Any
Anything
fun
else?
activities? I know. So the Shenanigans ended up losing both of their games. They lost to the Old Outlaws 32-18, and then they lost to Monster 29-12. Anything significant for them? Was it just a different roster, brand new teams? What was the general situation like?
I didn't scorekeep any of their games.
Oh,
Both
okay.
their
So you
games
did the
were
other
scorekept
games.
by
Okay.
the
So
other
guess.
So,
Yeah.
What would your guess be?
Just give a wild guess.
Why they lost?
Yeah.
Yes.
They what I heard from my end while I was scorekeeping on the other game was a lot of negative comments towards the refs, and
Oh.
it was just very intense. I think
Lots
it was
of shenanigans, so to speak.
a lot of yeah.
So
A lot
then,
of,
so you had the Montreal Spitfire games in, right? Monster, Montreal Spitfire, and then
Exactly.
Old Outlaws Spitfire. What happened in those
Exactly.
games? Who ended up winning them?
The first game was the
I believe it was the black team, which the Monsters. I believe they won.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
The Monsters won that game, and that game was also a bit intense because some of the players were saying the ref wasn't calling plays properly, which is not my place to judge if he was calling them properly or not.
Yeah.
So
But
there
if
was
you
a bit
were
of
to
upsetness
judge,
on-
what if you were to
what if I
judge?
was?
What would you say?
If you, yeah.
They were saying there were sacks. The sacks he called, I believe he called properly when I was looking at them, and I guess because the ball was thrown at the same time as the flag was pulled.
Yeah.
And when that happens, a lot of times the players believe that it's a sack, but actually if it's thrown at the exact same time, then it's usually not a sack.
Correct.
Yeah.
And so then, so they were getting upset over that, saying that it was a sack. And then there was a play of holding on the quarterback. He was holding his pants, and I did see that as I saw the holding, but I guess the ref didn't see the holding on that. There was something else. Oh, there was an upset over downs. They were saying it was fourth down, but it was actually third down.
Oh well, then you had to get involved.
Yeah,
there.
that's the scorekeeper now.
So did you have to get
Yeah.
involved and look at the play-by-play and then give a rundown of what down it actually was?
Well, the ref did that, but I backed up his opinion that it was third down because I didn't see that there was a first down on the one of the plays. So they thought it was fourth down instead of third down.
So what you're saying is monster. Like, and we can clip this, put this on Instagram. According to Maya, monster are a bunch of babies that are complaining for nothing.
Correct.
Awesome. Maya's words, not mine. Not mine. Maya, how did Montreal Spitfire look? Their quarterback got injured last week, or a couple weeks ago. How did they look with their backup quarterback?
Oh, that was a backup quarterback?
Yeah.
Yep.
Oh, I think pretty well. I didn't think it was a backup quarterback. I thought that was their main
That's a good sign.
quarterback.
That's a good sign.
That's a good sign. Yeah.
There was a couple of good far passes I saw. There was a touchdown on the first, I believe, one of the first passes in the second game. Like the first couple of plays, there was a touchdown it was like a 40-yard pass, I believe. And
Nice.
so it was a touchdown. So that was pretty. That was a pretty good pass, and there was a couple of other far passes that were pretty nice too. I found
Awesome.
that just because.
Maya, thanks for being a good sport. I know we're super annoying, so I know you've already worked a full shift at FPF, so thank you for your time. We really appreciate it.
Yeah. Thanks, Maya.
We'll talk soon.
Bravo.
All right, talk to
All
you
right.
later.
Thanks.
Bye.
There we go. More chaos. I love this.
So what I heard from that conversation was the refs are not getting the calls right.
Well, no, they got 2 out of 3 right.
Right. The sack
So
one. You know
Monster complained for nothing.
Yeah. You know what?
Crybabies.
That you know-
Maya said they're crybabies. I'm not saying they're crybabies.
yeah.
I have no idea what kind of babies they are. Maya's saying they're crybabies.
The crying variety.
They're the crying variety of baby.
But serious, you know what? Just to bring it serious for a half a second,
Never.
that sack contention is I scorekeep quite a bit this season. My God, people are getting it wrong. Like it's if the flag is pulled and the ball is still in the hand, I don't care if you're cocking it backwards and you have a forward motion. If the ball is still in your hand and the flag is pulled off, it's a sack.
The referee looks at the flag. If the flag is pulled, they look up. If the ball is in your hand, so you have like a half a second or whatever.
Yeah.
But by the time the referee's eyes get to the ball, if it's still in the quarterback's hand, it's a sack.
Yeah, it's just I've heard people say, "Oh, but his arm's in a forward motion." Doesn't matter.
It's just like Ryan Dobbs saying he tripped into the quarterback. It doesn't matter why.
Yeah,
It's
doesn't
the
matter.
rule.
Exactly. Yeah.
So thanks to Maya, by the way, for joining us.
Yeah,
That was awesome.
thanks.
What's your last name, by the way? I just didn't.
Hankey.
Oh, Maya Hankey. Thank you for joining us. I just
Hankey
want to make
Pants.
sure.
So
that
we
you're doing
actually added this very specific situation to the rule book because it wasn't included. So it's rule 8.6.
right. Do you not know we're running long? We
I know.
don't need
It says
this.
if the ball is clearly still in the hand of the passer when the
just
flag
said
becomes
it.
detached, the
just
play
said
is
it.
dead. That is the exact wording.
We just
Clearly
said it.
still in the hand of the passer.
You're
so
not
there is
listening to the show. I said the same thing.
no, but I'm saying that's the way it's written. So
Who
it
cares?
is referee interpretation, but that is how they've been told.
That's what
to
they're
adjudicate.
interpreting. They're interpreting the thing I already said. Perfect. Awesome. Please move on. Karan Palice is injured. He tore his Achilles. He's out for the season. It sucked. First of all, outside of FPF, tearing your Achilles is
Yeah.
terrible.
Happened to my snapper.
It's the thing
Ugh.
I I want
Jason.
least to happen to my body
Oh,
is a
okay,
torn
yeah,
Achilles,
yeah.
because 8
Or
months
snap,
of doing
yeah.
nothing is awful.
Oh, yeah, that alone.
It-
Forget the Achilles part. The 8 months of not being able to move properly.
From what I've understood, like the recovery's not even that painful. It's just incredibly frustrating.
Yeah.
Because imagine not feeling that much pain, but just not being able to walk, not being able to do anything.
That's
It's rough.
it's like the equivalent of having another lockdown.
Yeah.
Like it's like
Except that everyone else can do stuff.
yeah, that's
It's a
worse.
lockdown for you only.
That's worse. Yeah.
Do we want to guess on who the backup quarterback that
I
didn't
bel-
look
I
like a
believe
backup
it's-
was? It's got to be Gino,
It's
right?
gotta be Gino. It's
Yeah,
gotta be Gino.
yeah.
Which again, like for all the part, some of it are jokes, some of it are legitimate criticisms towards Gino. He's talented.
Yeah.
It's not
It's
about
not
his
the
talent.
first. It's not the first time you say that on this show.
No, I want to make that clear because I do feel like we rag on him a bit, and part of it is because we know we can take it.
Yeah.
And the thing is that, I don't want it to disparage his ability. When I got to FPF a long time ago, Gino was one of the premier quarterbacks in FPF,
Mm-hmm.
and that shouldn't be taken away from him. But we'll do it anyway. It's an awful injury for Carm. What does that change in terms of their outlook? Does that keep them as the elite team in the division?
No. That now puts old age outlaws at an advantage, and not to take the number 1 seed. That's a little
It's too late,
too
but
late
come
for
playoff
that.
time.
Yeah, but now that's all that really matters, right? Is just how they're going to perform at playoffs. And it might be no, it's not. It's going to be an old age outlaws versus monster probably. Anyways, you never know. Is it 8 games for 35?
Yep.
Yeah.
It's a complementary division. So.
Yeah. So it's not going to affect their seeding in the regular season, but come playoff time, that's where they're gonna really notice the difference. Yeah.
And tier 2, we've been saying Pacemaker's the best team in
Yeah.
the division. Yavara Ashrafi, who plays with me in Division 4, is on that team. He told me that they closed out the game with 5 players, and still were able to hold on for the win.
What do you mean? They're not 5 players all the time. They're 5 players in the.
That was
Was it taken yesterday?
that was one of the issues. It's why he wasn't at our game, is because he needed to be there at the same time.
Also, it looks like the takeover.
It does a
jersey.
little bit, huh?
Yeah, it's
It
just
does.
orange instead of red
Yeah.
color.
I
Yeah.
thought it was the same
Yeah.
because I'm colorblind.
Oh,
So many
right,
things are
right.
wrong with
All
me.
right, yeah. So yeah, they're 7-0. Yeah.
And so like
Oh, it just speaks to how
it
good
speaks to
they
how-
are.
Yeah.
Yeah, but still winning. They closed the game with 5, or they were.
They
5
closed the game with 5. There was a. I'm trying to get the information as we speak.
Yeah.
Because he did write to me. If I'm not mistaken.
Well, they played FPF.
Yeah. So he says they had
Or
5 men for
J&J.
10 plays. And he got an interception to seal the win.
So
that
it
means
sounds-
someone got kicked out of the
so it
game for
sounds
10
like-
plays.
Yeah, it was.
Yeah.
It was a OCRUR basically.
How dumb?
You can't.
How
take it.
dumb? You're 6 players. Shut your.
I'm surprised it wasn't Yavar. He was on the game to get the interception. I was like, oh, there was a UR. It must be Yavar.
Looks like unnecessary roughness to Mr. Rossi.
That's
That could have been way worse, actually, because
Yeah.
if
That's
they
your
score right away,
quarterback,
they also don't have the quarterback to come back and win the game.
Oh my god.
And the game, of course, ended with an incomplete pass by Chris Olsen.
Could have
But-
been Jordan Rossi, though, admittedly, not Jason.
Oh.
It is Jay Rossi, so
Yeah.
I'd have to check.
It's a
I can check. Let me check.
Well, I mean,
It's fun.
to your point, they would have Jordan backing up at quarterbacks,
Which is also fine. It's
yeah,
true.
Yeah.
they would also probably be undefeated if Jordan Rossi was quarterback.
Yeah.
So we've talked about that all season. So I just found that an interesting tidbit, and I don't want to get into too much 35 because again we don't have a lot of storylines. Maya gave us the goods.
Yeah.
Because
Yeah.
there's not a lot. Most of the games happened last night, and then all the
Tonight.
rest of the games happened tonight. So we don't have a ton of information. But I spoke to Carmen Palice this week. We're gonna get some more info from him as he's taking more of a sideline role the rest of the season. He's gonna be helping us out more with 35 plus. So looking forward to that.
Nice.
It was QB that would have potentially been bad.
Well, but again,
I know.
They
it's
also
fine,
have-
but I'm saying.
they have the 2 Rossies, so it doesn't matter. It's more impressive to me that they won with 5 plays and got an interception close to the end of the game to essentially put the game out of reach.
Yeah, playing those games with 5 players, it's not fun. when you're the team with 5 players, or even when you're the team playing against
No, it's
5
not.
players, you're just like you don't give 100. It happened to Vultures 2.0 against Pincellos. With Vince Karen Romano in Florida. He was being his best version of Karen
Yeah,
down
I
in
was gonna
Florida.
say.
Down in Florida. But yeah, it's like you don't give 100% when you're the guys playing 6. But they almost won.
Yeah, well, you're
Like,
5. Call your boy. I could have subbed. I could have snapped. I could have played receiver.
They 5 minutes because of the insane traffic on the 13 being
yeah,
closed
yeah.
on the Saturday and Sunday.
I get it.
Yeah,
I thought they were 5 all game.
and it was 6 p.m. It was the first set of games, so there was
gross.
no other teams there yet, right?
Games of the week.
All right, games of
We have
the
a meeting
week
after this. This is terrible.
Jesus,
are going to go Div 1 and 2. Terror Squad, all hooks.
Terror Squad.
Terror Squad.
The Apocalypse, Team Swish.
The Apocalypse.
Apocalypse.
Urgence Médic, Party Crashers.
Ooh.
Urgence.
Urgence. But close.
Yep.
Gryffindor, Braves.
Oh. Give me Gryffindor.
Give me Braves.
Doubleheader, Gryffindor, Flagmoilsac.
Give me Flag.
Give me Gryffindor because I just assumed these games will all be split.
God
I think you
Skills,
did the same thing.
God Skills, All Stars.
All Stars.
All Stars.
B-Ballers, KGP.
KGP.
Yeah.
Fun game though.
Yeah.
Party Crashers, #NR.
Hashtag NR.
Party Crashers.
Division 3, Silent Ticklers, Ligro Cook.
Ticklers.
OGC.
Past Our Prime, Killabees.
Oh.
Pastor Prime.
Yeah. POP.
Easy W, Les Malouds.
We talked about that.
Yeah, Malud for me.
Easy W.
All right.
Mangoose, Junkyard Dogs.
Junkyard Dogs.
Yeah. JYD.
Blessed, Bearskins.
Blessed.
Speed Academy, Expendables.
Speed.
Speed.
Oompa Loompas, Lightweight.
Lightweight.
Oof. I don't even know. This should be a win.
Come on. Yeah. Come
Give me Oompa Loompas.
on. Ooh.
Upset.
There you go.
Touch It, Catch It, Sheesh.
Sheesh.
Touch it. Catch it.
For a Big Fun, Top Season.
Season.
Top season.
The Brotherhood, KGP Ra.
KGP Rock.
Brotherhood.
The Stoics, Small Giants.
Small Giants.
Small Giants.
Les Bleus Branleurs, Blackouts.
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 Mongoose, Hurley and Sons.
Mongoose.
Mongoose.
Centaur, Takeover.
Ooh.
Yeah, that's close. Takeover.
Takeover. I almost went Centaur, but
They've lost a lot of close
Yeah.
games.
Bruins, Backyard Bullies.
Bruins.
Bruins.
Sparrows, Cougars, Nomads.
Sparrows.
Sparrows. Cougars.
4B, Bandits, Ballers.
Ballers.
Bandits.
Bandits. Sorry, no mistake.
Yeah.
Les Verges Folles, The U.
The U.
Give me Vershful. I'm really high on them. I'm really high on Vershful.
Sphinx, East Side Boys.
East Side Boys.
You said boys.
Arouche, Honey Martin.
Yeah, pick it.
So 50?
Yeah.
Honey Martin
yeah.
50?
Yeah. That's your thing.
I'll go Honey Martin.
Beer Belly Brigade, Golden Eagles featuring Sarah Parker.
I hope you're
BBB.
really good, but I think they'll win. I think they'll win. They're just the better team.
Yeah, BBB.
Finessers, Les Montagnards.
Montagnon.
Montagnard.
Vultures, Hot Sauce Sports.
Can't pick it, so Hot Sauce Sports by 50.
Vultures.
Mofos, Voodoo.
Voodoo.
Voodoo. But it's close.
Yeah.
Los Locos, Team Ethnic.
Ethnic.
Los Locos.
Vultures 2.0, Backwoods Football Club.
Can't
This
pick it.
4A.
Oh,
5B?
5A.
5A.
I was like, wait a
I lose
second.
track. I lose track.
5A.
5A.
Vultures against?
Vultures 2.0, Backwoods Football Club.
Vultures 2.0.
Wow. I can't pick
Yeah.
it.
Kings
Wow.
of the North, Los Banditos.
LB.
Los Bandidos.
The Reet, Buffalo Wild Wings.
Reet.
Streets Ahead, Wubba Lubba Dub Dubs.
What about
Yeah, Wubba.
Balls Deep, The Mighty Six.
Balls Deep?
Balls.
Ghosts, Ravens.
Ravens.
Metaverse, Step Bros.
Metaverse.
Metaverse.
Dilfs, Longhorns.
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 Goofy Goobers, Pinchellos.
Goofy Goobers.
Goofy.
All right, we got. I had
5B.
I had a chance to watch them a little bit yesterday. They're good.
Goofy?
Yeah.
Yeah, on the other field, yeah.
Let me reopen 5B.
I was
'cause
buying time for
apparently
Eagle
I
there.
Don't have that. Yeah.
Replacements, trap stars.
Well, you replaced him.
Yeah.
I believe Matthew Chadwick is throwing this game.
Ooh.
Trap stars.
Trap stars.
That's a tough game. That's a tough game for a backup quarterback.
Team Sexy, San Francisco 69ers.
Sexy.
Air Force One, Save the Turtles.
AF1.
Sorry, my headphones cut out. I missed you.
Air Force One, Save the Turtles.
AF1.
Trailer Park Boys, 2 Pfizers and Fox Half Johnson.
Pfizers.
Warriors, Save a Horse.
That's good.
Yeah.
Warriors.
Horse.
Cookers, Le Speakeasy.
Speakeasy.
Yeah. Speak.
Red Dragons, Lockdown.
Lockdown.
They'll lock down.
Threat Level Midnight, Not Mustangs.
Not Mustangs.
What could have been.
What could have been?
What could have been.
What could have bins? What could have binds?
All right, Division 6. We're going to start with Demons Free Agent Squad.
Free hours at Demons.
Demons, yeah.
Killer Rays, Tukarni.
Killer Rays.
Killer Rays.
Lionhearts, The Penetrators.
Penetrators.
Beer Knights, Glory Boys.
Good matchup, but beer nights.
Beer Knights.
Flag Football Team, Zidane La Frappe.
Flag football.
Flag.
Cavalier du Rohan, Tropic Thunder.
Tropic Thunder.
Tropic Thunder.
The Stormers, The Spanish Inquisition.
That's good too.
Medric Lozon is throwing for Spanish Inquisition.
Stormers.
I'm going to go Stormers. But it'll be
Prime
close.
Time, Stratton Oakmont.
Prime time.
Prime time.
What do we got next here?
Brewers.
Brewers, Your Girlfriends Cheer for Us.
Your girlfriend's cheer for us.
Brewers.
Nice.
Thunder Buddies, Henry P. Sagang.
Thunder
Thunder.
Buddies.
Team Poland, Maccabees.
Maccabees.
West Island Boys, Toon Squad.
West Island Boys.
Toon Squad.
Big Fat Bats, Dusters 2.0.
Big Fat Bats because I hate the Dusters. Rivalry continues.
Give me Dusters.
Rivalry week. Every week. All the time. Don't sleep.
Betway Bandits, Flamingos.
Petway.
That way.
All right. 7th Rounders, V-Town.
Seventh rounders.
Wild Hogs, FKU.
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 The Step Bros, the Off Island Boys.
Off Island Boys.
Off Island Boys.
All right, we're gonna go 35 plus. Brody Windsor, JMJ.
JMJ.
Yep. JMJ.
FPF, Pacemakers.
Pacemakers.
FPF.
Monster, Montreal Spitfire.
Monster.
Monster.
Old Age Outlaws, Shenanigans.
Outlaws.
We're gonna go Co-Ed 1. Power Rangers, Sriracha Hot Chili Sauce.
Power Rangers.
Power Rangers.
Party Mix, Average and Savage.
Party.
Party mix.
2.5 Kittens, Bishop Sycamore.
Sarah Parker led
Give me
BS.
Sarah Parker, yeah. BS.
What's the team name?
Yeah, I know.
Easy Fun, Party Mix.
Party Mix.
Easy fun. Another
Nice.
1 point win.
All right, Co-Ed 2, Y&Y, Team Commando.
Why and what?
Why and why?
Kiss My End Zone, 3 Hunters.
Can't pick it.
3 Hunters.
Fit Squad, La Secte.
Fit squad.
Good squad.
And that'll be it for this. And then we have women's as the last one here. Brut, Les Bleus.
Oh.
What?
Brut.
And then a doubleheader for Les Bleus versus Griffins.
Les Bleus.
Les Bleus.
Then a doubleheader for Griffins versus The Rock.
That's good. That's
Griffins.
a good one.
That's a good
but
game.
Griffins, yeah.
Strangers, Volts.
Volts.
VC Cubs, Red Nation.
Red Nation.
Red Nation.
Flamand Rose, Bleu Pou.
Bleu Pou.
Le Pou.
And a doubleheader for Flamand Rose versus Brut.
Brut 2-0.
Yeah.
And there we go, boys. That's the week.
Wrap her up.
All right. That was awesome. I'm really tired. I keep saying it.
that was the most untrue "that's awesome" I've ever heard. That's awesome.
Because again, we have a meeting after. I'm so tired. I just want to go home.
What time is it?
It's 11 p.m. Eastern.
I'll do the reverse mode. Good morning.
I love you guys. Thank you for letting me be myself. Bye. I said bye. End the show.
Something like a